Everybody, what is up? For my V Omega Lil D people, we are going to be opening up the stream today, looking at a lot of your guys' comments. Rather than doing all the cropping and the selecting and all that stuff, I'll probably just look through my list of new comments on all of the recent uploads. We had one today, in case you missed it, on some opinions I had in Sweden about burglaries and shootings and when is shooting okay and that kind of stuff. So if you missed that, feel free to check that out. Today should be a relatively short stream. That is the hope. So I want to talk with Rhizome for maybe an hour or two, and then move on to drawing through whatever donor requests I get today and chatting with you guys, hanging out, reading the chat. And then after that, go to bed, because tomorrow I have a big day of travel. I'll be up really, really early in the morning, and we're going to be driving up to maybe the central part of Norway. Right now we're in the southern part. We're in Moss, which is just south of Oslo, which, in case you didn't know, is very, very close to the border between Norway and Sweden. So all that's pretty far south. So we're going to take a big 4-hour journey up north to see some of central Norway. That is the plan, at least. We'll see how that goes. But in order to do that, I need to go to bed at a reasonable time. Right now it is 9 o'clock p.m. Rhizome was kind enough to move our talk earlier in the day. Not done last minute, of course. This was planned a little while ago, a few days ago. But that's the hope, that's the plan, and that's what we'll be up to today. And YouTube title is from last stream. Well, I can see if I could correct it. What happened today was I opened the Restream tab where I normally update my titles, and it kept refreshing like perpetually forever. Let me go ahead and edit that, though, because that is no good excuse for our title to be incorrect. Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out. And I got to ban this person in Twitch chat because we have no moderators here right now. So congrats, you're getting a ban. You're getting a permaban. Nice. Okay, let me figure this out real quick. Let's see. Channel dashboard, content, live, edit. And then I need to go grab my Twitch title, which is right here. Wait, why does this still say Discord, Collins? Oh my god, it updated none of my titles. Bruh. This fucking Restream app, I swear to god. The one on the phone doesn't work. I don't even know why I use that. Alright, so this is going to be talking with Rhizome. Actually, we'll just do this. Rhizome chat. Drawn. And chilling. I've been having a lot of technical problems in the background today, so forgive me if I don't have a ton of patience. I'm sure Rhizome will melt my heart and turn me away from being a cold streamer today, but that's kind of where I'm at with things, unfortunately. All right, we'll save that. Bada bing, bada boom. I also need to go back and timestamp like all of the videos on YouTube, which is not going to be fun, but it is what must be done. Okay, so I also have to timestamp stuff, and I need to give TAC a bunch of permissions for calendars, and Anime Club didn't update their calendar, and they're not doing their stuff on time today. They're doing it some random time, and nobody told me, and it seems they didn't update their members until last second. The person that updated their members didn't add anybody. So I'm just, I will be honest with you, I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood. I had a busy day. I didn't get a lot done of what I wanted to get done. And then I had this talk, and then I'll immediately have to go to bed. And I feel like I basically lost all of today. And I'm seeing a bunch of problems that I need to solve. And so I'm in a bad mood. Hope that makes sense. Get that ass banned. Yeah, I banned that ass, bro. All right. Enough lollygagging. Let me play you some tracks by Jacob Sampson while I go ahead and get Rhizome ready to go, and then we will jump into it. Talk to you guys in a bit.
this shit off right. If you hold me down, then I'ma treat you nice. I need a businessman with a dope boy chain. A businessman doing dope boy things. Off the muscle, like flex, yeah, I love to see you hustle. I'm emotional, you know I can't let you go. I'm emotional, don't wanna see you in no hole. I'm emotional. Come on, baby, talk to me. Break it down for a chick with some money. Yeah. Come on, baby, talk to me. Talk to me. Break it down. Yeah. Bout shit, get a chick with some money. Yeah, I'm stingy with my man, like I'm stingy with my honeys. Yeah. Go ahead and tell me that you love me, baby. Tell me that you love me. I mean, don't you be scared to call me, baby boy. You should get to know me. Yeah, true, I ain't never lonely, but you should try to be my one and only. You've been on me for so long. What's one more night alone? I might not pick up the phone, but I still want you to call me. I'm emotional. Hair done, nails done, heels high, I'm fly. New bands, switch cash, I'm dripping. Hair done, nails done, heels high, I'm fly. New bands, switch cash, I'm dripping. I'm pretty.
She gon' break it down for the huncho. One, she pull up, she do that stuff. Till her tiptoe. I got on pro. She do 5 we at the top. Had to cancel all the hoes. She touch the ice and now she froze.
That was Emotional by Jacob Sample Sampson. The next track that I'll be playing for you guys is the Booksmarts anthem, although I'd say PictoChat songs have grown to be the brand a little bit more than other stuff. This one is Hell Yeah, Dude by Jacob Sampson. Enjoy.
Hell yeah, dude, we're breaking into it.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Hell yeah, dude, we're breaking into it.
Music Hassan fishing mode.
Hello, party people. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are doing fine. And I hope that you have brought a better attitude to stream today than me. Please don't try to upset me. You will successfully accomplish that if my breathing practices and things fail me. What's up, Saiku? What's up, Leonardo? I need to do gratefulness exercises. Okay. So in case you've just missed the very intro of this, in case you are not a V Omega Lil D Giga Chad that catches every single second of the VOD, geez, I wanted to get so much done today, but here's where the gratefulness thing comes in. So I woke up today. The walk that I was supposed to be up for with a dog through the neighborhood. Oh, wow. There's an easy way of being grateful. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the $5.
I'm on break while I work. Since I still got 5 hours to go and you'll be keeping me company now, you get to have some of my lunch money. Do wise with it.
I will do good with it. I'll do one better. It's a good start to the stream. A sub and $5. Let's hear what you have to say.
Pog hopes stream goes well.
Well, I do too. So, whew. So I had a cool day. Got to hang out with the dog, Labradoodle. And we walked through the forests of Norway. We had ourselves a nice, longer than anticipated walk that happened late, which meant that I didn't get as much work done today as I had wanted. And then a bunch more work came on my plate, a bunch of problems with the clubs. And tomorrow, I try to say yes to everything that the hosts want to do, or that the friends of the hosts want to do. They want to do a drive. I say, hell yeah, let's do that drive tomorrow. If you have time tomorrow, let's do it. I should make use of every single day that I have in this country to do wonderful things with wonderful people, and not say no to stuff. And that way, when I get back to the U.S. and I'm sitting there in my apartment in North Carolina, which, by the way, ding, 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 ding. Looks like we're getting close to. We're at 1,000. I'm sorry, and 558, I believe that is, dollars. That's huge. We are getting very, very, very close to our goal, which is awesome. Then if we hit that, I'll come up with some interesting things to set, and we'll go back to having smaller streaming goals for things per stream. I just want to keep that up there as a reminder, because something that I've been thinking more about is like, hey, I'm getting older. I probably need to get a place. I need to settle down a little bit more, spend less time traveling. I've seen most of the world that I wanted to see. There are still places in the south of Europe, or places in Africa, or places in South America that I have not been to, and yada yada. I'm not as interested in all of those places. I think they're places that I would spend months at a time in if I were to do them, or plan some kind of like tourist excursion, like to Egypt and stuff like that. So I'm not stressing on the travel. A lot of the stuff that I would want to do, I would take a bunch of time before I would do it. I would learn about the pyramids. I would learn about Rome. I would learn about, the different battles of World War II, and then go visit those places. But hey, I need to stop. I need to stop. And if that means fucking moving to North Carolina, then that move has my fucking blessing. And I hope it has your fucking blessing as well, because you know what's going to happen. If I'm able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in a reasonably priced area of the South, and I have that, then I'm going to have a streaming studio. I'll be able to work on that. I might have more time to work on some YouTube projects that I've been looking at. Maybe even consider starting a second YouTube channel that does more scripted content that I would personally be interested in doing. Gamble on that for a year, see how it turns out, see if that gets any traction. Have it be completely unrelated to the Twitch stuff that I do, while continuing to do the Twitch stuff, because, I love you guys, and you certainly support me in my way of life, and I do appreciate that. But I had a stream where I was really stressed out. I only had like a few $100 in my bank account. And I just realized, if this isn't able to sustain me, let alone allow me to save money or allow me to like better my lot in life, I know that there are things I ought to be doing. I'm an adult. I can think like an adult. And there's stuff that I'm not doing that I ought to be doing. And I'll be turning 25 on the 16th of June. it's time to start thinking about that. I'm 5 years away from 30. You know what I mean? And then I'll be at, my halfway point of a decent life, considering 60 is when things start going downhill, in my opinion, given my my eating habits and stuff like that. It'll probably be like 40. So, I was thinking about, like, if I really, really, really want to take this streaming thing seriously, what does that take? And I wasn't even sure if the streaming thing could even afford me the move. I was considering selling my motorcycle. I have already sold my van. Like, there's so many other changes I'm trying to make to, continue doing the streaming thing. And I was thinking, like, maybe the thing to let go of is the idea of continuing to do streaming, right? And it's never fun to tell you guys that. It's never fun to put that in front of you. It's a criticism that then or it's the foundation of a criticism that other people can use against me to say this, that, or the other thing about me and stretch it into something that it's not. And so, it's just not a uber productive thing to bring up. But what I do think is productive to bring up is, if I'm doing some unspoken test about metrics or something like that, like I was doing with my trip through Europe, that if by the end of my trip I'm not even able to save up enough money to move into a place when I get back, then this needs to stop. I gotta go get a job. I gotta get back into essay writing, because, like, I have a life to live. I don't want to give up my life to do this. Like, it's that's not a trade-off I'm willing to make. I don't want to give up, like, a decent life in order to stream. The idea with streaming is that it would be done in addition to a decent life. And if the streaming takes so much time that it has to be like my main gig, and I don't have a lot of other time to do the things I need to do to make money, then the streaming has to also function as that thing to make money. It mattered a lot less when I was, like, in between essay things and waiting out Corona and seeing what was happening when I was first starting out. But we're, in my opinion, done with the Corona thing. It doesn't have the impacts on my life that it was at the very beginning. It doesn't have the impacts on my business it would have had at the very beginning. Frankly, if I hadn't done streaming and, a few months further into the pandemic, or maybe a year into the pandemic, I had gone to, like, re-advertising myself as, like, an essay writer and as somebody who could help you with online classes and stuff, and as a tutor, I probably would have made a ton of money. And I probably would have been able to afford living on my own in California and having my own apartment in California and having my motorcycle and fixing my van. And, like, seeing that life path and really considering the probabilities of what it would have afforded me made me really think deeply about if streaming being a requirement of my life or whatever is really something I always want to factor into my equation of what I spend my time doing. And so I got into Doomer Point, and I had a Doomer Point on stream, but I reeled it back. I was transparent with you guys the next stream about what it was that I was doing, what the metrics for success were. And look at this. In large part thanks to $1,000 dono, which I am keeping in the back of my mind that, a huge part of that was $1,000 donation. And another huge part of what is supporting me in the background that I don't talk as much about is commissioned work. Somebody else commissioned me for a really, really big bit of a strange ask of a project. I think even they would admit to as much. But if that project continues, then that's a good chunk of money every single month. And essays and tutoring also, are a big, financial thing. So, long story short, that's been kind of the story. That's what's going on with that donation goal. If everybody were to chip in for the content that can, like everybody who has a job, has a gig making a money, has money in the bank, if everybody, to take one out of Invader V's book, if everybody was responsible and paid for the content that they're consuming, I would be totally fine. And I need to do better at making that happen by shilling like I am right now and asking for it, or, putting up this donation goal here with, what it is that I'm looking for, or reworking the Patreon, which is another huge thing on my to-do list that I had planned to sink some hours into today that didn't happen, that I plan to sink hours into tomorrow, which is no longer going to happen. And, I have to do all this studying and stuff for the Vosh thing. So it's just, there's so many hours on other ish that is content for you guys, and other ish that is traveling. And that's why I'm cutting off the traveling at the end of summer, at the end of July. And yeah, there's just been a lot of stuff that's been on my mind, a lot of stuff I've been thinking about, and now stuff that I'm being transparent with you guys about. And, you know, if you are a longtime viewer of this channel, I would like to think that you have stayed around because to some extent you like it when I'm transparent about that. You like hearing about my thought process on things like work or things like life. And even if it's uncomfortable, being transparent with you about the way that I'm thinking about those things, especially when it impacts you guys, is something that I want to do. And, you know, to do that, I think, you know, being transparent about this stuff is good. And getting all that off of my chest, I'm hoping that that helps me with my mood a little bit. I am super grateful for the life that you guys have given me. It hasn't been as much money as I would make with essay writing or something like that, but it's been a fun ride. I've been able to do streams with a bunch of people. I've been able to talk to Destiny, who was somebody that I enjoyed on YouTube for a very long time, and talk with him a bunch, which was awesome. I remember the very first time I talked with Steven, how scared I was, how terrified I was of the community and how they would respond to me, how terrified I was of the possibility of a conversation with him going south, how scared I was about if people hated me, if they would try and dox me and ruin me and whatever. And it didn't happen like that. And I had a cool conversation with them. And then I had a bunch of cool ones after that. And people appreciated the reviews and the input that I had on debates. And I was able to talk with streamers and give them advice on how to communicate better. And I was able to share with people my philosophy on note-taking and learning and studying and education. And even if the things that I initially wanted to do on stream, I didn't end up doing, like tutoring and helping people with their papers and stuff like that, I was able to do, you know, a ton more. And then we got people like Couchman that support me with
Paying for content.
a lot of bitty boys. Thank you for those bits. I do appreciate it. Thank you for paying for the content that you enjoy. I do appreciate that, Couchman. So, you know, that's just, you know, stuff I've been thinking about. Thank you, would prefer not to. Cool to have you in the club. 3 months now with your Prime sub. That means you unlock a new sub badge. Hope you enjoy that one. And yeah, you know, so these are all just thoughts from the mind of Booksmarts about these things. You're a year older than me, yeah. Yeah. Some people are shocked at how young I am or how close to age I am. Other people are shocked at how far away in age I am. And yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. That's how old I am. You have it like a deadline. If I can't make it work in a year, I'm out. On the YouTube thing, if I started it, I would put an artificial deadline on it. For the streaming thing, the deadline for being able to make enough in savings to be able to afford to move and rent to a new place is 2,000. I still think that's lower than the number that I would need, but there are things like subs and things like super chats that don't count into that total amount that would also help me, and they would also contribute to that goal. So I figured if I'm able to hit 2,000 with Streamlabs donos, which you can get by doing ! dono, or if you're a VOmegalod Giga Chad, then you can do that by clicking the link in the video description. We have had a few VOD people who have supported. Again, we had a huge $1,000 dono from somebody who was a VOD person. So if you're a VOD person, you are not exempt from this call to action. But yeah, you know, that's just where I've been at, you know. Hi, Bookie, looking devilishly handsome. Well, I'm happy you think so. I got more of the Tintin look going today. When I separate out the faux hawk more, I think it looks less Tintin-y, so I've been trying to do that. But, you know, it be what it be. I gotta stop having Rhizome on hold here, so I'll message Rhizome. And make sure they're ready to go. And yeah, so that's getting it out of my system. Hopefully I won't be too doomer in today's stream, but I am a little bit stressed out, that's all. But you know, I'll have to put up with it. There's good days and there's bad days. Today's just not the greatest day in the world. Wow, we got some people memeing out in the chat with the Rhizome emotes. Happy to see you guys represent. Dr. Jellicle, Smack Day, Blurch. Cool to have you. Whoa! Whoa!
I try to chip in a buck every time I catch you live.
I love that, dude. You know, you also make up for the people who aren't able to or just flat out don't. You to supplement my income from the landlords or the grain millionaires that have a bunch of money and just choose not to give me any, and for the people who can't afford it, the people who are unemployed, the people who are on disability or some kind of, you know, other kind of support system and they can't afford it.
I'm a bookie Sumi BGGL.
Same with Hiffer. Huge. We have already passed $100 in the opening of this stream alone. That will certainly put a smile on my face. $44 from Saiku. Thank you a ton. And $50 from Hiffer. Bigly good. That's awesome. Thank you guys. What does that bring our dono goal up to? I'm curious. Let's see. That brings us up to... Oh, I was way overestimated before. 1650. That's still huge. I think we'll get there. My liberal estimate is that we get there before July, which would be a month short of what I would have put the deadline at, which is huge. So thank you guys for your support. I'm happy for people like Saiku who pitch in every time they catch a stream. Happy for people like Hiffer. Again, you guys are covering for not only yourselves, but like other people who can't contribute. So that's big of you. I you know, it's tough to, on the one hand, talk about streaming, my relationship with it, my considerations for leaving this space or seriously cutting back my efforts on it and focusing on real work and whatever. And to balance that with like asking for the donations and hoping it works out and whatever, and appreciating you guys who do support it, because it's not a mark on you, the people that support it, that like I if I would stop, like, I don't know, it's just such a weird tight line to walk, you know what I mean? I hope you get what I mean, because I don't want to keep Rhizome waiting any longer than I have to. I just wanted to be honest with this. If you had missed the stream where I talked about it, because it's at the end of a really boring stream and I was doing drawing and stuff, you know what I mean? So you may not have caught that. My mom caught that, and when we talked on the phone the other day, she thought I was quitting. So if that's an opinion that my mom came away with, it's something that I feel the need to address. So that I just got that out of the way at the beginning of the stream. Maybe we'll talk more about that with Rhizome, depending on the way that the topics go today. I have a lot prepared to talk with him about, and we'll kind of see the direction that conversation goes in. And yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and ring up Rhizome here and call him. Rhizome knows we're live already. What's up, Rhizome?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. How are you?
A shout out to the chat. It's an inside joke. We're making fun of Hake right there.
Oh, I see. Who is Hake?
He always does that. Hake from the Hake Report. He works for JLP. He's got like another show on the network where he just talks about how female-minded society is, and that's the biggest problem that we're dealing with today. And he always, whenever he introduces himself, he always shouts himself out to the chat, or he shouts the chat out. It's a very deliberate thing.
He sounds like a hell of a guy.
Oh, dude, it's great. When I bring him up, what I do, like on my stream, when we watch him, when we cover him, I pull up I crop down his camera to just his head, like wherever it sits, where he's staring in the center, and he's always able to maintain that frame. He never breaks that frame. It's impressive. Like, just imagine keeping your head in like almost the same pixel perfect location for the entire stream.
Is he just like really good on posture or what?
I think he has marks on his monitor. Like, I think he's in a studio, and I think he's got marks that he can actually like use to gauge where he should be sitting. Because sometimes he like clocks it in. He like recognizes that he's a bit off, and then he clocks it in.
Does that mean he's staring at the camera, or do you think he's staring at a monitor?
There's a camera that he's staring at that has a monitor directly behind it. So if he needs to look at himself, he's looking through the camera. That's my belief.
That's smart. That's smart as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It's what people do with you know, like the mirrorless cameras now that have like that backing that you can like flip around.
Yeah, the little screen in the back, like Casey Neistat.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm imagining is he's got like a monitor that's bigger than the camera right behind it, you know?
I see. He's got himself up on the 60-inch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
what's going on, man?
Not much. I mean, we started out doomer because I was having a bit of a stress moment before stream, and so I tried to work that out and talk with the chat about that. But besides that, I'm doing pretty good.
Nice. What do you doomer about?
So I had a stream a while back where like I looked at my bank account and I only had like a few $100 in there, and I'm like stressing about money and streaming and whatever, and I kept coming back to this idea of like, dude, if I like the coronavirus pandemic in terms of affecting my essay writing job and tutoring is like over. It's done. It's not anymore. If anything, it's like a prime time industry for it right now because everybody's going to need tutors and everybody wants help. And if everything's online, it's a lot easier for me to do the work because the professors care a lot less. And so, I was just like, dude, why the fuck am I still doing this then? Like, if this isn't blowing up, if this isn't making enough money to where I'm able to save money every month, like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to seriously begin to consider stopping doing this. And so I had been thinking about that before I had started stream, and then I was still doomer by the end of the stream. And so I just like mentioned it. My mom had seen that stream. She thought I was quitting. And so like, I realized thereafter I needed to be like transparent with the chat that like if I have a secret goal, and my secret goal was like if I'm not able to save like $2,000 to like put aside for like a deposit when I get back to the US and at the end of July, then I was just going to seriously consider like, all right, priority number one is like another job, like probably doing essay writing, and then priority number two is stream. At every hour stream would take away from work, I would just have to dump streaming. So I thought it would be better to be transparent with them about that instead of having it be like a secret goal. And that's
I mean,
all
that sounds pragmatic to me, not really doomer to me.
Yeah, but I think the way it comes off to other people, the emotional aspect of it is doomer.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if your mom literally thought you were quitting, I can see that.
Yeah. So and then I had to like rectify that. So I've been trying to be more positive on streams and just chill a bit more and be honest with people and see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same. I mean, pretty much every stream, I think like now twice a stream, I remind people like, if you want me to be here, there's things that need to take place,
Yeah. And I've seen you be honest about like, dude, I'd like to move away from having to do my job and stuff. And I would need to hit these numbers to like make that happen. And, and you've seen good growth from that. I actually didn't know, although I think you had mentioned in our conversation that you had taken like 3 months off of streaming and redesigned and rethought everything before coming back. Chud was telling me about that, and I felt like it was the first time I was hearing it.
Oh, yeah. It was back like, so it's a weird story actually, because like basically there was a point where I was always improving my stream graphically and stuff like that, but there was a point where I was like, I'm always going to be man inside of a rectangle unless I get a green screen. And once I realized like I could be a lot more flexible and I was getting inspired by a couple of streams, I was like, I can offer something that other people aren't. And so I'm going to try to lean into that. Like I wanted to make things a lot more interactive. I wanted to make the stream just a lot more immersive and the things in the stream like meaningful to me at least. So I took a lot of time to make that happen. And that was at the beginning of 2020, but it looks like I took another break in the fall, which I did because that was more for like the back end rebranding stuff, like the emotes, like my name change and stuff like that. So there was like 2 small breaks. There was one break where I just like revamped the aesthetic, and then there was another break where I kind of like reconsidered my approach in marketing myself.
And do you feel like that change has really been paying off for you since you did it?
Yeah, but it's almost mostly because I knew how to capitalize on like my moment where I ended up on Hassan's stream. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if that moment weren't there, I could have done all of that and it would have just been the same.
And has that success with the Hassan appearance, have you like taken a lesson from that at all? Like,
yeah, what do you mean?
So like what I would like to ask, but I feel like it's begging the question or whatever, is like, did that make you start viewing the stream as like the only way that I'm going to grow is by doing collabs or like getting in front of like big audiences, or like what was
Oh
the
no, not
takeaway
at
there?
all. It was just a moment where I knew I had more discoverability than not. Like than before. 'Cause, like with Twitch, the problem is always like, are people looking into you? And like it was a moment where I knew I could give people a reason to look into me. So like when people were like Chud or Wicked Supreme were watching it on stream, and like I was already somebody who hung out in those chats, like I knew I could use this as like a call to action to like view me as a content creator. And like that could have happened in a number of ways. Like I was producing YouTube videos before and stuff like that, but it just so happened to be when like Hassan brought me on stream, and due to the nature of the content people cover in Twitch poll, I was like featured as content like in the next few hours, you know?
And for people that might have missed it, what kind of spurred on that conversation with Hassan?
So this is the C word arc, like the C word for white people. That's like Ritz, you know. I don't know if we can say it on stream. I'm always kind of dubious about it. Like I think we can reference it, but it's like it's whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about.
It's cracker.
Yeah, exactly. So he and his audience had said "get fucked" C word in response to this kid getting eliminated from MasterChef, who's like this like 18-year-old kid who apparently like had worked with the police and Trump since being on MasterChef. But like my only context for it was like he's this 18-year-old kid. So I was like, why are you guys so okay with people talking like this? So in my chat message, I was like, why is it okay to call someone C word like or why is it okay to denigrate somebody just because they're white or some shit like that? And I spammed that. And there was a moment where I was like, okay, I want to go live today, and like I don't know what this is really accomplishing me because I'm just spamming chat, right? But at a certain point, he like saw my spam, and then he like latched onto a message and was like, okay, this is a 22-month sub. I'll bring them in. Let's see what they have to say. And then, you know, the rest is history.
Wow. Because I feel like the other clips I've seen of Hassan, he seems to look at the sub length and then just still writes them off. I'm surprised that led to him changing his opinion on the take or taking it more seriously.
He did, yeah. So he saw me spamming that, and then he scrolled up in my logs and saw that like basically in every other capacity I had been like a normal Hassan viewer. So he was like, maybe this will be a different conversation, I guess, or whatever. And so yeah, and I approached him in good faith, so I guess he like assumed I would, you know. So he was like, maybe this could be a good example of what it might look like to have a dissenting conversation. I don't know that he's jumped into another chat with anybody ever since, to be real.
Well, lucky you. I guess that worked out in your favor.
Yeah, exactly.
You talk about these moments leading to the ultimate question of, are people looking into you? How do you create those moments now, if you try to at all?
Well, it was panels at first, right? And it was just like getting to know people in the Twitch poll community. I think at this point, like I've sort of maximized like that, because I don't think there's really like a community that isn't at least tangentially aware of me. So like at this point, I need to like look elsewhere, I believe. Like I need to start like branching out. But yeah, just getting to know people, like networking through chat, basically.
And how do you, because that I think is the wall for a lot of people in these communities, is once you've kind of wrung the panel ring dry, then what? Because the simple answer is, well, you find other people to collab with or other audiences to get in front of. But I feel like most people struggle to find the answer to how to do that. What is your answer there?
Oh, I mean, well, we did this segment like 4 weeks ago, called Hidden Gems, where we just like looked out into Twitch and we saw what else might be out there for us to encounter. And we started like, it was totally unintentional, but some of the people who we looked into were live at the time. And so when we went in and we just started following their channels because we liked what we saw, like, you know how discoverability is on Twitch. Like it was just, we got such a positive reaction from the creators because they were just like, holy shit, like 20, 30 people just followed all at once. Like how the fuck, you know, they were just like really taken aback by the whole situation. So like it like helped us to like meet a few channels that way and get some new eyes on us. And I think things like that could just like really help out. It's just like literally networking through the platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Twitch chat or otherwise. There's a content creator who that sandwich dude, who I didn't know about at all beforehand, but he does this really cool improv music thing where he's got like a loop station and he does a lot of like music creation. He's like Mark Riboulet kind of thing. And now he like hangs out in my chat regularly. Like he's literally in my stream like every day, just like memeing with us. You know what I mean? So like he enjoys the content. And like I go and I rate him now, and it's like now we have like more people who are like aware of the community, who are interested in what we're doing. So I see that as an avenue, just getting to meet people and making friends, because like I think a lot of people want that on Twitch.
Yeah, like yeah, the wanting to meet people and make friends and stuff. It's something I hear a lot from streamers who are starting out as well, where like they're like, dude, how do I meet people? Like, how do I actually get in these group chats or these group DMs or these Discord like inner circles and like really get to know people? And I think, like you said, the simple fact of the matter is like being in their chat, being visible to them, being in their Discords, like that is the way to do it. And as you meet people, as you befriend them, then you'll find your way to other people that they know or they like or they talk to. And you know, it's not all that different from like real life insofar as like once you make friends with one person, then you can be friends with their friends and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think what might intimidate people about it is that they go in there with the idea that they're there to like leech off a community or something. Like they're there to like increase their viewer count or something. But I am genuinely a Twitch lover. Like I genuinely enjoy watching streams. I think you do too. So like when I just like having fun on Twitch, and I think that helps.
Yeah. Like, man, having fun in a Twitch that is live, I find a lot more difficult than like being a filthy VOD watcher. I'm a huge filthy VOD watcher because I'll listen to you at 3 or 4x, and that's how most people are bearable for me. But it's not often that I have something like your chat or Gappy's chat or Chud's chat where like it's just fun to be there. I feel like that's a lot harder to find for me personally.
Oh yeah, I see. I consider myself a chatter first, and I think like a lot of the people who are more everydayers, like more like everyday watchers of the content, I think when it comes to my stuff, they tend to be people who are like enjoyers of the platform and the medium itself and like chat interaction. So I really try to maximize that in my stream, and that's kind of like something that I've applied to like my strategy to just like get out there.
Okay. Yeah. The chat experience is something like I've been talking with Chud Logic, and I learned about your Streamer Nightmares project that you both are working on.
Oh yeah.
Are you okay with discussing that, or do you want to keep it like hush hush?
Yeah, totally. This would be another way that I would consider to be like building inroads as well too. Because like one thing that happens a lot is smaller streamers will hit me up because like I'm known as like the tech visual guy now. So like they'll hit me up and be like, hey, do you have any suggestions for XYZ, or like how do I do this as like a small streamer? So I think turning that into a series and like meeting new streamers and like showing them off and like giving them a new audience and like or giving them new eyes on them will help us like not only like reach their people but reach other people on the platform when we distill it into like a YouTube video who are trying to like grow and get this kind of advice. Because like even through like that first one that we did, and we can go over like what it is in a sec, like I had people tell me that like they've made changes to their channel just based on the advice we gave this other dude, you know.
Damn. Okay. I know Chud mentioned that you guys learned a lot from the pilot. What are some things that you felt like you learned after doing the pilot?
So I think the first thing is that we really need to make sure that the person understands like what they want to get out of this. I think this guy, Name Manon was great in the sense that he was really receptive of criticism, you know? And I think that like one thing that I really want to make happen, but I don't know how we're going to like incentivize this, but I really want people who have like, a little bit of pushback more. I think we need a little bit of pushback from the people who we're working with, just so that we can have that conversation, because I think it's important to hear, you know what I mean? Rather than like me and Chud just being like the gurus of everything. And I think we just need more promotion and hype around it, which I think Chud kind of discussed ideas for that. Because we sort of slapped it together, and the reason that it happened that way was because it was like sitting on our table for like 3 weeks. I was like, all right, I just want us to do this so that we can actually start to figure it out and scaffold it. So I just was like, Chud, let's try to run this Sunday. This is what we'll do, right? Here's the format. And so this was just like a trial run, you know? So basically we need to map out the segments better. I want to do more chat engagement, like through polls, so that the person has like surveys they can actually look at from a community that's like engaging with their stuff for the first time. So like running polls in chat through Chud's mods and like screenshotting that and sending it to them. And some of the stuff he said, like having an audition session, it would be really fun just to get chat more engaged with like the people who we're going to be looking into, and they're going to be like excited for certain creators that maybe they watch coming up. So yeah, just drumming up a lot more excitement, smoothing it out. Those are the kinds of things that I learned from running it the first time.
Gotcha. And what is the application or requirement process like? Like what do you guys see yourselves doing?
Well, the first thing is there's just at least minimums. So the established minimum was like they have to be an affiliate. They have to, and there's certain reasons for all these things. So if you want, I can go into them, but they have to be an affiliate. They have to at least have 10 viewers. And I don't know that we did a maximum last time, but no, I think maybe we did a maximum of like 300 or something. I can't remember. That might just be me thinking about hidden gems, because for hidden gems I do 30 to 300 or 20 to 300. I can't even remember what I do. And the last requirement was that they've streamed at least 100 hours in the last 90 days or something like that. So just to make sure that we're not getting somebody who just like has walked through the door yesterday and is like, yo, I'm trying to like up my channel game. Like, what do you guys got for feedback for me? Because it's not just like it's supposed to be a self-promotion hour. And then the form that we want to submit or have them submit will tell us things like what they've been struggling to improve about their channel, why they think things might not be going the way that they want, their expectations just kind of like more clearly outlined, and an audition tape so that like we can see what we might be getting out of it, and chat can get a little preview as well. So those are the things that I think would go into like that process.
And I know that you have the name Streamer Nightmares, but are you trying to capture like the essence or the format of Kitchen Nightmares, or is that just kind of like a name and you're kind of making your own thing there?
A little bit of both. I really liked when Chud would be like, right, I see that you're doing this. Why are you doing that? And then Name Manon would be like, oh, because this. Like, I like those moments. So I do think we could push more into that. But that's also part of the application process. Like I remember saying in the original tweet, like, just be sure that you're cool with light roasting, you know, and I do think that that's important because chat's going to see stuff that they're going to be like, chat's reaction to stuff will be what we're trying to hide them from, essentially, if we're just being nice, right? So if we go in and we're just like, oh yeah, you know, I think that it's this, that, without us being like, okay, this looks like garbage, right? Chat's thinking it looks like garbage. So we should be able to say that and have it be understood that like, we're not just going to say it's trash, give up. We're going to say it's trash, here's why we say that. And then have chat push back with us. So the opinionated aspect of it like really matters. Yeah.
Oh man, and you were talking about chat experience before, like if this was live, I can see that being a huge thing where like the chatters who have already been exposed to this are also jumping in and like, you know, they're yelling at the same time that you guys are, and that could be like a really fun experience.
Yeah, exactly. So like chat's gonna live vicariously through us. And so if we're sitting there and reacting in a way that chatter wouldn't, and they are feeling like, am I being mean or something? And like, it's like, no, that reaction is fine. This is all about our reactions. Let's talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think in the end, it was understood that way. Like Name Manon, like one of the pieces of advice we gave him was like, loosen that butthole, you know, which is like hilarious. And it's also kind of rude, but he wrote it down and was like, yeah, like I need to loosen that butthole. And chat was probably feeling it too, you know?
Yeah, like so much is contained in that statement too. I like when like vague statements or euphemistic ones can almost be better than saying specific things, because like what the person takes out of it in their brain and what you guys have in your brain, like all of it is compiled into this one bit of advice, like loosen that
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah, we could be hyper descriptive about it, or we can understand what that what that generally means. And he took it as like, I need to, and he took it as this, because like one of the pieces of feedback some people gave us was like, what if somebody has a quote unquote dry personality? And he took it as like, even if your personality is dry, there's things about it that you can highlight and bring out and make shine, and you can always show the best side of yourself, like no matter how dry you are. As I was like watching him react to us reacting to him, and that was his takeaway of the loose in the butthole situation. So like I feel like that's pretty productive, you know.
Yeah. I like, if you were to break down like the top 5 tips that would be applicable to like most streamers, like, or and it doesn't have to just be 5, it could be less or more. Like, what are the main tips you feel like every channel could benefit from considering more?
Why you stream in the first place. I think everybody needs to take time and consider why they're doing what they do, and they should be having fun with it first, and they should know like what they're contributing, and the answer shouldn't just be because I want to stream. And then the same goes with what you're doing on your stream. Like, why do you have things in your overlay? Why do you have certain elements included or excluded? I think there should be a reason to do those things or not have those things or have those things. And the answer shouldn't just be, well, this is what I see other people do. Right. So those are my first 2 things. Then the other things are like, consider first impressions. That's just like something that people should really think about. Like when somebody encounters your content, first of all, how do they do that? Are there avenues for them to encounter it? And second of all, what do they see when they're there? Are they going to see something that interests them in the first 3 seconds? For me, I consider points of entry into my stream to be like things like emotes or seeing me on some other streamers stream being covered, right? And people then come into my stream and they see like some interesting aesthetics. The aesthetics are also a part of like what they see when they see me on other people's streams, and then they get like a feel. They see the chats having fun. They're memeing. Like, even though we're talking about serious stuff, we're still like engaging with it with a lot of jokes and laughs. And so I think like all of that contributes to good first impressions. Those would be like my big generals. And then I also think people just need to venture out on Twitch more. Don't look at like somebody like Soda Poppin' and then try to replicate that and assume you're going to see success on Twitch. Like, don't just turn a camera on yourself in your bedroom and play video games and assume you're going to get 25K people. Like, look around, see what people are doing, see how you can add to the medium. Those are my basic tips.
Gotcha. And like, one thing I see, and this applies to lots of people, like even people I'm friends with, like Wicked Supreme, I think is a great example. Like, I think that looking for some magical X variable that applies and explains why every streamer is popular or successful is another endeavor to not get yourself lost in, because it doesn't work that way. Like, the reason why Mitch Jones has had success over time and continues to have success is very different from the reason why Soda Poppin' would, or why Tyler One would, or like all these different people. So like I talk with larger and smaller people who they think that they're looking for some X variable that is leading to everybody's success, and if only they could find that, then they could apply it to their own channel. And I feel like that is something you could sink a lot of hours and energy into that could distract from like looking at your present situation, what the next steps are for you as well, just to like add something in there.
Oh yeah, I think keeping your head down, focusing on what you can improve is important. And that's one thing that I always try to apply to my streams. Watching my VODs back and just going, okay, when I end my sentences like this, it gets kind of like annoying to hear all the time. Like if I always end my sentences with literally or something like that, you know, and that's something that's well within my control to be conscious of, right? And at least try to improve. And like, or being like, oh wow, at like this time of day, the light behind me from my camera gets really intense. I should probably like close my shades or something like that. Like those are things that people I think just like neglect to do, is just like watch their VODs and just ask like, what are the marginal things I can improve on?
What do you say when you run into people that are like, they have a gazillion reasons for it, but I think a lot of it boils down to like, but I hate listening to myself or seeing myself or whatever, these excuses not to go back and look at the content you're producing.
Yeah. I empathize a lot with people who have things like body dysmorphia or just like a general like sense of like discomfort when they see themselves. But the issue there is you know what you like. And if you don't like your own stream, and I'm not implying that they wouldn't because they can't look at their, they don't feel like they can like watch it, but like it's a good way to gauge whether or not you are entertaining in the first place if you would watch your own stream. You know, and I've heard other people talk about this too, who I know have seen success. Like you are going to be the best gauge, at least up front, like, because you always have access to your own opinion on it, like as to whether or not you are entertaining yourself and what you might need to change for that to happen, you know?
And what if there's somebody who isn't somebody who even likes Twitch, or they're not a chatter, or like they don't fit the demographic of the person that they're trying to appeal to? Like, what then?
Yeah, I think like there's other places, and it's not to be like really negative. It's more to just be like maybe there's more fertile soil for you elsewhere, you know, because like the average watcher is gonna enjoy Twitch chat and they're gonna enjoy being there. If you can't like watch it in that lens, it's kind of difficult to know what you might do.
Yeah, because I can totally see you running into that on the show and it being like a really pivotal, sad moment for like their chatters and yours. If like the advice or the direction things are starting to go in is like, maybe you should be a YouTuber, or maybe you should be a TikToker.
It could be. At the same time, there was a time when I was doing like deliberate like YouTube recording on my stream, right? Like I was using my stream as an opportunity to do that. And I recognized why, if I had more people watching at the time, which I had like 10 people watching at the time, I realized that would be a very disengaging chat experience. Just me being very conscious of like me trying to like put on like do a segment or whatever, right? So I think like recognizing that can help somebody realize like maybe I need to just do that offline and then go online for the conversation or the things that like Twitch is strong for. So like somebody who's making like banger content but it just fits on YouTube, it's just like put it there. And then if you like Twitch and you want to like exploit that like avenue of growth as well, I mean, if you want to even call it that, but like just like getting people to see your shit, do what Twitch is good for, like play a game and talk about like what the stuff you're making with your audience, kind of like Vosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you do when you want to try something new? It's hurting your numbers, it's hurting the content, but you're confident that like in 6 months the goal is to be building a viewership that is here for this new thing. Like, how do you balance out the harm that brings and that kind of decision?
That's tough. I did that kind of. So like I used to play a lot of games, but I realized that my gaming audience didn't translate to my political react audience, which is the thing that I always wanted to be doing. Like I always wanted to have those conversations. So like I didn't feel like I could just become, you know, a gaming Andy, because that would just feel too stifling. And I would always try to, when I was gaming anyways, like bring up conversations that are like in that realm or like meme in that direction. So when I like switched to just exclusively like doing commentary style stuff, I took probably like a hit in the sense of like I went from 30 to 10 viewers, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like insane, but it was a big hit. But yeah, I was just kind of like getting positive feedback from the people who stayed, and I just sort of knew based on like I feel like I have a very discerning eye when it comes to you know, the aesthetics of something or like just the style that it has. Like I knew I was making engaging content, but it was just about the discoverability. So I think like if someone's really confident they're making good shit and they want to move in that direction, I think that they should be encouraged to do that, but trying to recognize like that if they're not seeing the growth right away, there might also be steps that they could do to like put more eyes on it. And that's probably what the problem is more than anything.
Last question on this future show. So one thing I talk with Chud Logic about is I really like the idea of it, so much so that like I would like to be a part of it, would you want to count me as a regular streamer, or would you go with what Chud kind of pitched in that conversation, which is to do like celebrity kitchen nightmares or like celebrity streamer nightmares?
I think doing this, I like that a lot, to be honest. I think that would probably be what we want to do, mostly because when it comes to the streamers that we're normally going to be doing, I think most of chat is going to be formulating their first impression of this person at the time of. But I don't know that you're going to get that kind of reaction out of Chud's audience because they've had a lot of exposure to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably
so doing it with a different veneer to it, I think would be helpful there, where like we can get some semblance of that experience, and like we can hopefully engage chat in like a more open-minded, critical manner in regards to your channel. But like I don't want to like put it in the same season where like you're meeting 5 new like unknown people who have like started within the last year, and then there's like Booksmarts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that like just branding it differently is a good idea, but I'd be down to critique you and give some advice for sure.
Yeah, and I'd be down to like do it in a way where you guys are comfortable being mean too, because like the thing with
yeah, we know you can take it too.
Yeah, because like when you talk with other streamers in private, I think they're a lot more positive and to the point of like almost blowing smoke up your butt or whatever. And I really love the idea of like, you guys are okay with being mean. You're actually taking like a critical lens to my content and then like delivering it in like a no bullshit way where you've like asked your audience and stuff about it as well. Like,
yeah. One thing that when I was starting out on, because I started back in 2020, I was looking up a lot of advice on the subreddit Twitch, which is, if you're ever trying to grow, it is the worst subreddit to follow advice from. And most of what I saw was a lot of toxic positivity, in the sense that it would be somebody who's like, I've been trying to hit affiliate for 2 years and I can't do it. What do you guys think it is? Right? Like that's the nature of the post. And for chat, hitting affiliate requires 50 followers and an average of 3 viewers over the course of 30 days, plus a certain number of hours streamed. I think it's like 25 hours streamed. And the thing there is like, if you can't hit that, like there probably is something that you are doing wrong. Like if you can't get 3 people to be interested to sit through your stream, there's probably something you're doing wrong. But the comments you would see in response are people who were like, oh no, listen, it took me 4 years to get affiliate. Just hang in there, keep it up, keep doing it. Just keep going. I feel like there is this conflation of criticism with negativity out there, where like people can help you diagnose the situation, be practical about what you need to do, and also like be a little bit critical and or not critical, but be a little bit negative, right? But it doesn't have to be seen as like poo-pooing, you know. So that's something that I really want to like, I lean my content towards, you know.
Yeah, and another one, and we even give it as like a common advice to each other, is this idea of like, just keep putting hours on and be consistent. Like, yeah, that's like a positive thing, but it's not the solution to a lot of the problems that these folks are going through. And you could dig them way deeper into a ditch, wasting time doing like the same thing over and over that isn't working. And consistency.
Yeah, well, those two things mean something different, right? Like putting in the hours and consistency to me mean 2 different things. I think that there are a lot of people who up front tell you, you know, the biggest thing with Twitch is consistency. And then what they do is they see the biggest streamer streaming for like 8+ hours and think that that's what consistency means. And they try to like maximize that, and they get bad advice. I think all consistency means is set expectations with your viewers and meet them, right? And when that comes to like your content production, regularity is important, but that doesn't speak to frequency. And like you can determine frequency when it comes to the quality of your content, you know. And I don't think that that's really going to sacrifice like the amount of viewers that you're going to get over time.
Okay. Yeah, because like I also don't necessarily know if consistency is like a necessary component of going from like 10 viewers to 100. Like it could be a helpful
It's important in the sense that if I tell 10 people I'm going to be here at 5 o'clock on Sunday, I better be there at 5 o'clock on Sunday, because if they can't start to expect me, then they're never going to catch me.
So it sounds like
That's the only sense. Yeah.
the way you're describing it is more of like a streamer mindset focused thing, that it's about making commitments to your audience that you are fulfilling, but the hugest thing there is you fulfilling it and you making promises that like you're making good on, if I'm understanding that correctly.
Yep. Hey guys, I'm going to drop a new video tomorrow. Drop that video. Hey guys, I'm going to be here at this time. Be there at that time. And sometimes I fuck up with that just because like either I'm overdoing myself and shit like that, and I'll announce it in Discord, but I try to keep that to a minimum, you know? And I've made sure like over the last few weeks, like people know like Friday is my day off, for example. So like no matter what happens, they know like don't expect me on Friday, basically. You know, so like, and other days you can expect me. I try not to be too hard about like when to expect me. So my stream says almost every day at 6 p.m., you know, and if I know that it might be up in the air, I'll try to announce it. But yeah, I think consistency is about setting expectations and meeting expectations.
Gotcha. To kind of loop back to the very first thing we ever talked about, the taint.
Oh yeah.
How would you describe taint to the listeners? Yeah, the blight. How would you describe it to them? And like how, if at all, have like your views on that changed since the last time we talked about it?
Okay, there's a few different blights. If we're talking about Twitch poll blight, I have a very different answer than like general streaming blight.
Oh, everyone likes their own brand.
Do you want to know about both, or do you want to know about like one
All
specifically?
right, analysis.
I want to know about both, but before that, I just want to say thank you to Indri for the raid. Welcome, guys. We are talking with Rhizome.
That's Leonard, by the way. That's the COD family.
Leonard. Okay. Are they familiar with who you are, or should I give them an introduction?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. This is a mod of my community, but also a streamer in his own right. He's a COD man. He plays Pokemon. He does gaming. He does commentary. He's just a up-and-coming new dude.
All right. Sick. Well, happy to have you in how do I pronounce it?
Leonard, but for anyone who's listening, it's LNRDI on Twitch. And Leonard, if we're talking about streamer nightmares, that's my first piece of advice for you, bro. But anyways, if you want to check him out, it's LNRDI at Twitch, the COD master.
Yeah, that's a rough name, because that lowercase L almost looks like an I, and I would never expect it to be. Like, if I had to decide, is it an L or is it an I, my brain would always go to I, and then
You'd probably say injury, right?
Yeah.
Like injury or something, yeah.
Yeah, and I would mix up that D and that R. Yeah, okay, yeah, the name is something to look at maybe for the streamer nightmares thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, so there's two types of blight as far as I see it. And the concept resonated with me when you said it, but I think I've experienced both. So I'll describe what I've experienced, basically. I think the first type of blight is when you think you're ready to start streaming, and you start streaming, and you start seeing a little bit of growth, just a tiny bit. Like you get like 5-7 viewers, you get like just a little bit, right? But then you plateau out. And you start to feel like you're not sure what to do, but you keep hitting live. That's the first blight. The first blight is like the disillusionment around the idea that like firing up the stream is going to lead to anything different happening. So I think like what happens is a lot of people come to Twitch. They're like, all right, I got my webcam, I got my games, I got my overlay, I got my whatever else I need, right? My microphone, and I'm going to fire up my first stream. Here we go. I told a bunch of people I'm going to do it. All right, nice. We got 10 people in here. Fire up the next stream. All right, cool. We got 5 people in here chilling, doing some gaming. All right, next stream up. We got 4 people in here. That's all right. That feels a little weird. Whatever. And then, oh, we got a raid from somebody who I met. Oh, cool. Now we got 12 people in here. That's sick. All right, I'm going to fire up the next stream. Okay, now I got 6. And that's kind of what happens. And then you just start to burn out and you're like, why is this not going anywhere? Right. And it's just because like you're kind of replicating what you've seen other people do, but like you don't really have a sense of how to like move yourself forward.
Okay. And then blight number 2.
Twitch poll blight. Twitch poll blight is I've got the biggest, baddest takes these guys ever did see, and I'm going to come in there and I'm going to show them what real discourse looks like. And then you attempt to like improve the discourse or like commentate on the discourse, but like you don't really gain any traction. And then you start to see people around you who like meme and are dishonest and like focused on the drama and the petty stuff grow, and then you get sad because you're like, why doesn't Twitch politics want to do real shit? And you get disillusioned to the idea that like your content is going to lead to anything like positive outcomes happening, right?
And has it, your views on that, have they kind of evolved since the last time we talked, or is it more or less the same?
I think when we talked, it was more or less the same, because by the time I'd entered into the Twitch poll space, I sort of already knew what it was. You know what I mean? Like, I'd been a watcher for long enough. But I would say like back in spring of 2021, probably like around the time that I first encountered your content, and this was a time when I was starting to like break out of like enjoying Hassan, where I was just like, okay, there can be productive discourse happening here, right? And I would like I started to gear my content towards the Twitch poll stuff. But yeah, no, I was just kind of quickly like, yeah, nah, it's mostly entertainment. Like, we're just gonna be able to like meme a bit, and like the thing with that is it doesn't mean that there's no political potential, and it doesn't mean that it can't contribute positively to like different like to political outcomes, you know. People take it that way though when you say like it's entertainment first.
Yeah, that entertainment first thing, especially when you're on the page of like believing in the improvement, it's an idea you're really not ready to swallow, because it's a big pill to swallow, because you're working with like the opposite mindset. Like, what, like how do you get somebody to work their way to being able to swallow that pill?
I think it's really tough. I think a lot of people believe that I think a lot of people don't understand that like the quest for us to understand like the human condition in the sense of us trying to gain knowledge about the world is going to have a certain limit, and our understanding is always going to have a certain limit, and we operate under a lot of bias and pretense to try and like fool ourselves into thinking that we have a coherent picture of the world. I think people sort of fool themselves into thinking that like the picture that they formulated of the world is the most coherent one, and forget that like other people operate under different pretenses that like you need to address and like recognize. And so they like think that there's this sort of like objectivity in the quest of like political endeavors, that we're gonna end up on a certain like aisle or position inevitably, and that all they need to do is show the objectivity in that position to get people to move there. But they don't recognize that that's not going to reach everybody. So I think a lot of it comes from that.
Okay. And kind of similar to this blight thing, because I what I'm thinking about doing, because I have I have a lot of experience now, like organizing teams of people and organizing like really big asks in terms of like hours from people to work on things, whether that's like this kind of drama research thing we have going on now in the Discord, or clubs, or the BGG development, or other things like with editors. I really want to move towards giving Twitch streamers solutions for how to actually get their community active in doing things. But it seems like most streamers, like Chud Logic included, are blackpilled on the idea of getting any kind of activism done while on the website. Like, do you have any experience with that kind of blight, or that kind of branch of the blight? Or
if there was something that like, if there was like there's a website, I think somebody reached out to me in DMs. I'm not going to say who it is just in case they don't want this out there, but like there's some people who are working on a platform where you can figure out where local canvassing efforts in your area are and get in touch with the people you need to get involved. I have no problem pushing people towards things like that if they do want to get involved in politics and they do want to contribute to politics. But yeah, I don't necessarily like feel a responsibility to that with my platform, but I do think it would be like a positive thing to tell my audience to go give a try if they want to, because I think some people are looking for an avenue for that and are misguided into thinking that their participation in a Twitch chat can be some sort of like supplementary political engagement.
yeah, and this kind of resigning yourself, and I hate to say this, but like the one interview I did a few days ago was with Zach App, And I have a feeling that some people resign themselves to the idea that, oh, my job here is as an educator, that I'm here to educate. I'm here to put resources in people's hands.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but you yourself probably are acutely aware that that doesn't translate into nearly as many people doing it as if you would like dedicate 8 hours of the 68 in the case of Zach app that you're spending streaming a week towards like Discord DMing people and be like, hey, if you want help with this, I will look up in your zip code what it is that you could go do based on what it is that you want to do. And I'll follow up with you to make sure you get in the habit of doing it. Like that would.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I think there's people who are more capable of doing that out there, who are trying to reach people. And if they are trying to do that through Twitch, like I want to work with people like that and put my audience in touch with them if they're interested, you know. But I don't see that being my role necessarily. And there's something you said really quick, just on a tangent, is you know, Zach App sees himself as a bit of an educator. I get that sense from a lot of people in Twitch poll that they came here to teach people stuff. And I really don't understand like what gives them the like arrogance to think they have things to teach people about anything. I really do not understand that, which is why I try to like keep myself humble as to like the role that I play. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm a joker at best, you know, and a clown at worst, and that's it. And I can push people towards good things if they want to do that, and I can garner influence through like being an entertaining guy. But like I have no illusions about like my role here, you know.
Yeah, and to address that, because I also see it happening in the chat as well. It's not, my idea is not to obligate Twitch streamers that, oh, you should be doing this with your platform or whatever, or to obligate viewers like you should be doing this, whatever. It's more so like there are some viewers and there are some streamers who wish that either other people or themselves were able to do something with their platform that led to real life activism or real life change. And for those people and for those viewers, giving them the next steps in the same way I'm saying they should give next steps to their viewers is what I would advocate for. So if you're somebody who's educating for like hours and hours and hours every single week, you're probably in a position where you'd also want people to do activism about the things you're educating them about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Whereas like if you're doing what Chud's doing, or your goal is similar to like what your goal is with streaming, then like no, that's not something you're interested in. It's not something you're doing, and it's not something you should be like made to do. But for the people that are
it's like, yeah, if you want to do it and you see the value of it, like of course, like why not? But yeah, it's by no means an obligation. I do think I agree with you if you see yourself as like this sort of if you see yourself like educating an audience on like what they need to do politically, like showing them how they can get to do those things is also important.
Yeah. And I don't see that happening. Like I feel like what we have in that space in particular is a lack of leadership. It's a lot of people with their heads cut off preaching about this thing or that thing, and they're running around in circles. And what they need to do is step up to the plate and be the leader that they are already by being an influencer, and like really look at, okay, what are your key performance indicators for such a thing? Like, is it number of hours volunteered? Is it number of people that engage in something? Cool. How do we maximize that number? Like, look at it the way you should be looking at a business, or you should be looking at your streaming endeavor. Like, what are the numbers you need to hit and by what dates, and what are you actually doing to make a meaningful impact on those numbers? And you should be tracking them. And like, in that way alone, you're forcing people to confront like, all right, now that you've done this for like a week, do you really want to do that? Or are you going to drop that idea of activism and become a clown? Like, I think that that's another easier way I see to get people past that blight point we were talking about of like accepting the clown pill, that a lot of this is entertainment, you know, like,
Yeah.
well, then try and do the activism, take a real serious swing at it. And then is that really what you want to do with your stream? Is that really something you want to do as a person? Because I think the answer for most of these streamers is no. And if they were able to get their own answers for why the answer is no, they could also communicate that to their viewers to maybe get them out of this like delusion where they think they want to do stuff and they're actually never doing anything, and they feel bad because they're never doing anything, and like pull them out of that cycle.
I think what made me realize that, to be honest, was like my participation in Hassan's community, because I never really chatted much. I was just kind of like a lurker, but I would watch him like every day. And I realized it's like watching him just serves to tell me that the way that I'm thinking of the world is correct, and I'm righteous in the anger that I'm feeling. And it's a circle jerk of people who are just kind of sitting there just going like, yeah, bro, the world fucking sucks, man, and there's really just not much we can do about it. And I was just like, is that really helpful for me, and like something that like I need to be engaging with, you know? And it just like sort of turned me off to like you know, what that whole project that he's engaged with is about, really. Because at first I walked into it thinking there's a lot of people who are trying to engage politically here, but it feels like it's just really there to tell you how trash everything is, you know?
Yeah. And once you reach that realization, then you really confront, like, do I want to continue to be a part of this community now that I've taken, I forget which pill it is, maybe you've taken the red pill and you see how things are, and like now you get to make a real choice that's informed as to what you want to be consuming and why.
Yeah, and for me it was like, well, okay, I understand that there's like a sort of limit to our understanding, and like and there should be like a humility when it comes to our expectations for like our output. So like I can just kind of like lean into that in my content creation too, and like bring that understanding to things.
Yeah. All right.
One thing in your chat, somebody says, I feel like a natural extension of that is that streaming is inherently arrogant because you think you have anything of value to others. This is in reference to me saying, like, why would anyone expect that they should like be able to teach people through the platform? And the reason that I say that is because mostly I would just say this is an entertainment platform first. I think assessing your entertainment value is a different thing than thinking, okay, you know, this is a space where people are here to learn and I'm going to be that person to teach them. I think that there's a sort of hubris that comes with that, you know, saying, okay, I think I'm an entertaining person and I can contribute to this space where people are coming to be entertained. I think that there's like a difference there, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a huge and probably why it's important to swallow that we're entertainers pill like as early as possible in some form, because it's like, be real about what your position here is. Like, and again, I don't want to insult too many people, but are you educating people if all you're doing is serving them the things that are educating you? Because in that case, I don't know if you're an educator, right? Like,
you mean like reacting to a video where like you would get your take from or something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, because it's very different to have done all that work outside the stream and then bring it to people. Like, I see a huge difference when I do like a react line by line, or if I've done a line by line where I've sunk 6 to 8 hours off stream and now I'm here to deliver conclusions. Those to me feel very different. Or
yeah, right.
Yeah, or like with the Supreme Court case recently, like, okay, I've prepped a bunch of stuff on the way that the Supreme Court works, and I'll run it down with you, and then we'll look at some supplemental materials. But like, I'm preparing a lesson for you that I've already tried to learn about beforehand, and it's not discovering it in the moment necessarily.
Right. Yeah, you formulated it and you understand what the potential value of it may be. You're not assessing that in the moment of and reacting to it.
Yeah. So that's a lot of that, and it's tough to have those kinds of conversations without particular people feeling like it's about them, because frankly it would be about them, and I find that personally difficult. I don't know about you.
Here's the thing for me, and I said this before with toxic positivity. I went to art school, right? And people really liked the work that I made. I made paintings, I made music, I made videos. And most of the comments I would get on my stuff is people saying that they would like it. And it's like, great. How do I grow? Like, that would be my reaction. You know what I mean? It's like, great, cool. What do I do fucking next time then? You know what I mean? And I wish it felt like criticism had more of that impact in our just society at large. I don't think it's even just an internet thing, but just mostly because I engage in internet spaces. This is an internet problem for me. But I really wish people engaged with that in that mentality more, and were just seeking to like get the advice that they need to improve.
Yeah. How's life been for you, by the way? Like, how is it balancing work and stream now that stream is doing like even better? Like where are you at with that right now?
It's still kind of tough. I mean, there are times when like I just don't get enough sleep. I'm not eating enough. I don't have like enough time to myself to like clean my apartment and shit like that. But it's summer after Monday. So that's gonna be great. Like the fact that I have a job, this is a real privilege of being in the position I am as a teacher. I have a job that pays me for vacation time to keep a roof over my head. Like it's just such a luxury. So like I'm really gonna capitalize on that. And I want to make the stream like definitely something that I'm eating, shitting, breathing while I have that time, because balancing it and doing this going forward where I have my full-time job and I'm doing stream is going to be tough. I think all I really need to do is get to a point where the stream is like a pretty good part-time thing, and then I can try to cover taxes and medical expenses and stuff like that through like editing or some kind of supplementary work. But I haven't really like scaffolded that out yet. But doing this going forward is going to be tough, even with the vacations and shit like that from work. But I'm very, very lucky to have a job that ends at some point in the year, basically.
I see. Yeah, I guess teaching kind of affords you a unique opportunity to refocus on stream. And like you said, like I love hearing you talk about the scaffolding, because another thing I worry about now that I've started to like focus on this issue with people and ask more questions about it, like I always had the idea that everybody, when they're looking at what they want to accomplish, is thinking like, what are the steps to get there? What are the goals I'm looking to achieve? And always refocusing on those things. It seems to me that it's not the way at all. And most people have vague ideas of what they would like to do, but they're not really formulating how they're going to get there, or thinking about the steps, or spending the time on the scaffolding. And I don't know if that means that we ought to be doing that, or I ought to do that as a differentiating thing between me and other people, or if it's just a fruitless endeavor in total. Like, well, if everybody's getting by without doing this, maybe focusing on doing this at all is like taking time away from accomplishing things. Like now I'm kind of like rethinking that whole thing, because I thought everybody was doing that, and it doesn't appear that they are.
I don't think I don't think the number of people doing it should tell you its value, right? I would say that a lot of people, like, I'll give you my mom as an example. She really wanted to retire from work this year, but she's not somebody who does a lot of forethought, right? So she kept talking about how much she wants to retire, and how if she continued to work, she feels like it's just a waste of her time and stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, in order to do that, like, you really have to have a good idea of this, right? And I suggested to her, I was like, you should give yourself a deadline to have like an answer as to like what this will be like, so you can know whether or not you should work another year, right? And I tried to put it into perspective like that for her. But for her, like, the emotional value it represented and the reprieve that it represented, like, was weighed on the same scale as like how much she was prepared for it. Where for me, it was like the danger of leaping into the next stage of your life with no safety net and no idea of what's to come should terrify you, and should like motivate you to not do it more than just like, oh, well, I really hate my job, you know? But I think like just people kind of operate that way a lot of times. And I probably operate like that in certain ways too. I think I'm in a really privileged position right now when it comes to my job in the stream, that not a lot of people are in. Just being like a contracted employee who doesn't have to like work an active 8 hours a day. Like, I have time off when I'm at work, and like I get to have medical insurance and shit like that. So I think like I have the luxury of being able to plan. I think some people are also just in a position where they have to make the best decision for their emotional well-being sometimes too, you know?
Yeah.
And they weigh it similarly.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. If it helps anybody else listening to this, like, I don't follow that a lot of the time either. Like, especially with the traveling life that I live. Like, it's lived, like, week by week or month by month. And I'm sick of using that as an excuse for not focusing or building the things that I know I ought to build, or not continuing with the things that I've already said that I'm going to do. So that's why, like, settling down for me, it's like, all right, if I think about this, like I'm on like a boat in the middle of the Pacific and I'm like picking up broken pieces and putting it together as I'm going along, and there's fires on flight deck 1 and 2 and a fire in the boiling room. Like if there's all these fires going on and like a huge one is that I'm traveling all the time, the traveling one is really easy to put out and will let me spend more time and energy and resources on fixing the other problems aboard the boat. And so I need to like put that out. Same with like having money as like a backup plan and stuff. So I've like sold some stuff and I'm saving more money and whatever. So that's another fire that's out because it's like totally doable. And then the hope is that as I eliminate those, I'll also be able to like look at the other things and fix them more and take that structured approach to them. But yeah, we all definitely don't follow this, even if we might know that it is what we should be doing. But
yeah, exactly. And like I don't think the number of people who do it like speaks to anything really, because like you know, that's just like a lot of people operate under biases. Does that mean that like there's something we should respect, like when in our thinking and our rationale when we encounter them, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the number of people that are doing it shouldn't be an impact on it. But I'm always trying to learn from people like, well, then how did you accomplish things without this? And I'm just learning now that it seems to be a perchance thing. And now I'm like, oh, okay, well, then if it's just a perchance thing and you got lucky with things working out, then like definitely I won't be copying.
Yeah, or like it just so happened to work out that way, like it, regardless of like luck, like it could have always been, like it might have always been in the works, even if they planned it out, you know? I think it's a, like people might just have like a less aware perspective of like what the risks might be of doing doing something that might be a risky move, or like what you know, leaping into something that they should calculate, you know. So there's also that, like maybe you're just more cognizant of those factors, not that like you value them differently.
Yeah. And it's so tough to copy other people too when you're going at it your own way. Like I don't think we can, or I mean, you do teaching, so you do have like somewhat of a regular job, but like with streaming, we can't look to people who have a normal job to get insights from, or like me with the traveling stuff and like not having a degree or not pursuing college and whatever. Like I've always been in this weird position where I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. So like looking over at their homework and copying it gives me answers that don't work for the tests that I'm doing. And so yeah, I've been thinking more about that. But enough of this life shit, enough of this streaming shit. It's time to talk about the real topics. Are you ready for them?
Sure.
Okay. Have you been catching up with Vosh?
Have I been catching up with Vosh? You mean like the whole arm yourself shit?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been catching up with him. At least up through the conversation they had with Rose Wrist.
Okay. What all have you watched of this arc?
There was the conversation that he had with that kid, Luke. I think I watched some of that. I don't think I watched the whole thing. Maybe I even watched that like on Relly's stream. I don't even know that I did that on my own. And then on my own stream, we watched Vosh's conversation with Rose Wrist, and I took a bunch of notes because I knew people were having like a very contentious read of it.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts generally?
It seems like what's happening here is Vosh, or we all are running into a problem with Vosh's like limits of his moral prescriptions, like the ability for his moral system to prescribe actions, because he seems to feel like he needs to be able to see into the future to know what action would lead to the greatest outcome for the greatest amount of people, right? Like he can't calculate that with foresight. So he basically says like, well, we can see there's the possibility for XYZ. Now, when I hear that, it doesn't sound like he's saying it's going to lead to XYZ. Like he said, basically like, well, if the Republicans try to end democracy, like they might try to do, right? Like he would speak like that. So it's not like he's saying it's going to happen, but the possibility is there. And I remember he said that the possibility is there because they leave it open in their rhetoric or something like that. And there's also legislation being laid out that can represent targeted legislation towards a minority population, or I mean, it is in the case of certain bills that are being proposed and pushed through, that we may be headed in that direction. So Vosh is very like wishy-washy about it, and I think that frustrated people because they heard him be so black and white in the case of the World War II example, where he was like, no, like a Jew in Germany before World War II started would be within their right to preemptively like defend themselves or preemptively like strike against Nazis, because that would lead to the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. And people are really upset because they're like, okay, well, that parallels, because you're saying that this is the foundational like moment for a genocide, but because he doesn't know that it will lead to genocide for sure, he can't prescribe it. And so people find that Weasley and they don't like it.
Gotcha. Because like, and it's refreshing to hear the take like worded like this, because I feel like a lot of what I'm reading is that he said one thing, which is that it is imminent, it is happening, and we need to arm ourselves and fuck the Republicans. They're monsters. They want to end your lives. And therefore we need to arm ourselves and do this stuff, and that he just can't say the full statement because of TOS, that he can't say like, then I'm okay with these political actions against people, lawmakers, Republican voters, whatever.
That's the DGG read.
Yeah. And I feel like the actual issue is what you've mentioned, where like we're walking this fine line where we're making a statement about the future that is pretty clear, or a prediction about the future that's pretty clear, while also saying it's necessary to have foresight to know these things, therefore we don't know them, but I'm going to use hindsight for this other thing and say it was going to happen here. It doesn't seem like anybody's challenging him on like a nuts and bolts level of like, okay, but like, let's look at these phases of genocide. What other things fit these phases of genocide? Like, could this group technically be like on the verge of genocide right now? Because like, when we looked it up on stream, it's like, well, if I really wanted to, I could create a narrative for all sorts of groups of people, ranging from like Mexican immigrants in the US to like Native people in Canada, where we're at step 4 or 5. And, I feel like... sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Oh, no. I was just going to finish by saying, like, and it even says from the author of the phases that they often happen out of order, and no, like, cumulative, adding up of any of them necessarily indicates that it's going on, like, right now. And it seems like the last steps are far more important at identifying a genocide than the first. It doesn't seem to be something where we're meant to predict the future based on how many of these steps that we're hitting. And that's, like, entirely missing from the way that he's using it.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle for sure. I look at it as like, if I sit down with a dude, right, and he's like, yeah, when it comes to like morality, I think we should try to strive to take the actions that lead to the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. And then I'm like, all right, do you think that like in World War II, killing Nazis before they got aggressive would lead to the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people? And he's like, yeah, no, for sure, because like, you can see what they did, and so many people died as a result of their actions, right? And then I said, okay, well, like, do you think that right now we're laying down the foundation for a genocide with like trans shit? And that person's like, maybe. I can't really rule it out of their rhetoric. And then I'm like, okay, well, do you think that we'd be justified in preemptively attacking them like the Nazis would? And he's like, well, I want to prescribe actions that lead to the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. So like, in order for me to know that, I need to know what is to come in the future. So I can't really tell you. I don't think it's really fair for me at that point to say they're being inconsistent, Yeah.
And he sets up the dominoes in such a way where it seems like a Republican victory in 2024, like everything that follows after that is very easily predictable. But then when he's pushed on it, it seems like he gives a different kind of statement. So like, I'll be going through.
It sounds like he's It sounds like he's saying like, if they get into power, then they will end democracy. That's what it sounds like he's saying, right?
Yeah, but and then it feels different at other points when he's talking about it, which makes it tough. Like, I do see the wishy-washiness of it, but with that particular problem, it's so hard, and Chud remarked on this too, it's so hard to point it out if you don't have all the quotes and all the notes like laid out to make that statement, because you need to know what is the difference in statement A to A not 2 to A not 3. Like, you have to know the different iterations of it and have notes on that in order to point out the wishy-washiness. So that's why, like, oh, okay, of all the things I could spend time doing a line by line on, this would appear to be the one that's worth it, because that is the only way you're going to be able to prove that, is by looking at all the statements and how they differ across conversations and time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I think what it's going to come down to is the hardest you're going to get him on, at least for me, from what I've seen, is that he's going to say, based on the rhetoric of the Republican Party, they seem to have some interest in moving in a fascistic direction. So based on this interpretation of things, there may be a situation in the future where they enact a fascist takeover, right? And they start to genocide certain populations. But I don't think you're going to find a firm statement in there, because he always seems like, as you're saying, he'll say like, well, we need to see what happens in 2024. And then it's like, okay, well, what is going to happen? It's like, well, I don't know, but things could happen, you know?
Yeah. And like, I don't even think that that's as granted as he makes it out to be, that like they went into, or like even a statement as simple as like, the Republicans already tried and failed once to overthrow democracy after the election with Trump. Like, hold on, we have to be really careful with that statement. Did the Republicans do that, or were there some people in the Republican Party? Because while that seems like a Weasley distinction, it's super duper important. Like, I feel like the Republican Party, from my outside perspective, had like a shaky moment of that, where they're like, dude, there's no fucking, we're not doing that. Like, there's no way Pence is going to do this. We're not doing this. Yeah. And now we have these
the
people,
whole party was put into an uncomfortable position there.
Yeah, 100%. And so to pin it all on the Republican Party as a whole, and then use that as your main piece of evidence that they're going to bring down democracy, like, and the idea that the genocide or the focus on blame would be put on trans people, like, dude, if I was Republican leadership and I was a fascist, I don't know if trans people are the ones I want to pin it on. I think it's far more likely that like socialists or social democrats would be what I like even if I think as a fascist, I don't think it's smart to make the group like your version of the Jews be trans people. That to me doesn't even make strategic sense necessarily. I think that's a lot tougher of a sell to people than like the Democrats are brainwashing children, or the socialists are brainwashing. Like, there's so many problems with this that nobody brings up in any of their conversations with them, and it's like so frustrating to me, because it's like we're focused on such silly things with these conversations. I don't feel like anybody's digging into like the nuts and bolts of what he is saying. They're challenging on really surface.
I hear you on that. There is something to be said for like the interpretation from the trans side of things, or from people who empathize with that side, where like they interpret certain political ideologies to represent immediate existential threats to them, just based on their immutable characteristics, right? So they believe that, to an extent, anyone who gives credence to these thoughts, or time for them to be heard, or any sort of leniency to them, is potentially contributing to material harm or physical harm, or literally like a deathly threat to their lives, right? And that interpretation is something that they see so strongly, that the idea of trying to like compromise or like give time for other people to like get to that appreciation or understanding or empathize with it, even if they disagree, is like a waste of time, you know? And that's like who is really biting into that narrative.
Yeah. Because I'm talking to you before I really dive into this, is there anything in particular you think it would be worthwhile to be looking out for as I'm doing a line by line, or have we covered like most of it?
I think just moments where Rose Wrist is making logical connections between what he thinks Vosh is implying to what I think Vosh is saying is important. Like trying to really clarify if Rose Wrist is interpreting Vosh fairly or if he's interpreting him in a way that contributes to the read that he wants to give it. Or not even the read that he wants to give it, but the read that he's seeing, right? The read that he's eking out in it. Because when I was watching it, it seemed like they were having two different conversations, especially after the point where Vosh was worried about Rose Wrist being a Fed poster. It was like the conversation was over. So I'm literally talking about like the first 5 minutes or whatever. But like Vosh in that first 5 minutes was really just, in my opinion, talking about the limits of the ability for himself to prescribe things. And I think Rose Wrist kind of capitalized on that inability for him to prescribe things to paint it out as though he was being inconsistent.
Interesting, because in my read on it, watching it on stream, which could seriously impact the way I was seeing it, of course, it seemed like I didn't see so much the inconsistency pointing out as like we're very much so pushing, like you said, we're pushing a view. And I don't think that we have all the pieces there because it feels like the pieces that Rose is pushing are coming from another conversation. But I'm listening to Luke Beasley one before I started stream today. I don't see the pieces for that. I'll look at his original statements from before this whole arc, which I think are a lot less reasonable. Like his statements about the Republican Party and the police and these hyperbolic statements he makes all the time about these things. Those are far worse, but we don't drag this.
I haven't rewatched that first conversation that he had with Luke.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he was probably less considered in that conversation in terms of how he was coming across, especially because he wasn't believing that somebody was trying to clip him for TOS at that moment, right?
Although he mentions that in their conversation as well, and I feel like he, at least up to the point that I stopped watching, is being careful in the same way he was careful in the Rose Wrist conversation, where it's like, dude, all I'm saying is that people should arm themselves. All I'm saying is that from my perspective, we see the first steps of genocide, and by the time it becomes clear that a genocide is going to happen, we are too late. And rather than be too late, I will be maybe too early, and I will just tell people to arm themselves. I'm not telling them to kill people, not telling them to kill lawmakers for a gazillion reasons, but what I'm saying is it is advisable for trans people or people who might be subject to, you know, the fascistic whims of the Republican Party to arm themselves. And what sucks is like like independently, that point alone, I feel like is reasonable, and everybody grants that to him. But then they try to go deeper on like other things and they just don't get through. And that's kind of the frustrating part, I guess, of
well, yeah, they try to say that he's saying arm yourself because it's coming.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because it's coming, like, we don't do a very good job of fighting against that. Even in the Rose Wrist conversation, like,
I see it as because it may come.
Yeah.
And like I think that that's more or less just like having a pistol for home defense.
Yeah.
However, the difference though actually would be like if I bought a gun because I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy could rob me at a certain point because he's done these things that seem like he could rob me. So there is like this kind of like paranoid aspect to it, you know?
Yeah, like a fear monger. And then we have this overarching theme that covers a lot of his content of like the doomerness of it that you kind of talked about with Hassan too. Like everything is fucked and we can't fix it. Therefore, we need to take these like crazier extreme measures. And it's like, well, if we do that,
take it into your own hands to the extent that like, I'm just going to say like, you might need to take it into your own hands.
Yeah. And like when you do that, and on top of that, you're shitting on the people that are offering alternatives by calling them liberals or talking about how liberals don't have the solutions for these things because you can't think outside your silly little bubble of electoralism. Like, then it feels to me like a bit of a cop out. Like, okay, bro.
Well, yeah. This is how they don't with the one thing that I really don't appreciate with people who have this like conclusion of like we are moving in this direction where there could be a genocide or most likely would be a genocide. People who have that interpretation tend to think that they see through the things that you don't. and they have more of a cynical appreciation of the situation than you do, either based on their lived experience or what they've looked into or things that they've heard in their own communities. So like there almost is no talking to them because they just have concluded on the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is really frustrating and unfortunate.
It is, because you can't do anything with that. It turns somebody into a wall, and anytime anybody turns into a wall, it's like, damn, bro. Well, unfortunately, I got to move on
and
to
they
the next
label
person.
frog you, and that's it. Like, it's just like you're saying, right? Like, they're just gonna be like, okay, well, you're a lib, and it's like, okay, but wait, what do you disagree with what I say? It's like, well, you're just a liberal, and I don't really need to listen to what you're saying because you don't realize how harmful being a liberal is. It's like, wait, but like, what do you disagree with, bro?
Yeah, and they do the same thing with. I like how Rose Risk called it DGG jacketing. It's like the same exact problem. Like, and when it fails to work, because like I think it kind of works with the Peasley, whatever guy, but it doesn't work with Rose Risk with the DGG thing. And Rose did such a good job of fighting back on that in the last part of the conversation that like. Yeah, like really good call out of that being done to somebody. And it's the same thing as the liberalism thing. And it's annoying. It's just like it's a conversation ender.
This is what I call label frogging. It's basically when what you try to do is attach a label onto somebody as quick as possible. And then rather than arguing their takes, you argue for the legitimacy of the label. And the label is just meant to kind of poison the well for all of their takes. So it's like hastily you listen to their opinion, you slap a label on them, lib, and then you argue for why that's a bad label to have and why that's an appropriate label to give you rather than talking about the takes that you have.
Yep. These like and it falls under this broader umbrella that I've been tackling like in my own community of like mental shortcuts. Don't take mental shortcuts with people or conversational shortcuts. Like if you feel like somebody is posting a lot of text and you don't want to read it, don't call it schizo posting. Like just stop engaging if you're not down for it. Or like don't just call somebody autistic because they're not understanding what you're telling them or something like that. Like these
whoa. When somebody's posting paragraphs, I'm not going to call it schizo post. I'm going to call it what it is, sweat lording, all right?
Sweat lording.
All right, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's less problematic.
You're just sweating it up too much at that point.
Yeah, but I hate those because it's like it's an easy out, and like if you want an easy out, just fucking leave, bro. There's the door. You know, you don't have to keep going with it.
Yeah, I for me, it's not necessarily like people. I think it's fine for people to label stuff or to like shit on somebody like by using a label or whatever. But I think it's when the label becomes the argument that's the problem. When it's just like, no, you were schizo posting because this, bro. It's like, what are we doing here, right? Oh, no, you are a lib because this. Like I think that's just not productive at all.
Yeah, because now we're arguing about labels and like nobody wants to have that conversation. And
yeah,
well,
they can help us like pin down some of the values that we might have or some of the perspective we might want to communicate, but not like be the end all, like be the end all be all.
Yeah. Have you kept up with Mr. Girl stuff at all?
Good question. No, I don't think so. The last thing that I saw was that like hit piece this dude put out with like the editing, like the music, where he was like posting clips from his YouTube videos of him quote unquote being abusive. But I haven't followed the Real Girl saga.
Yeah, because then he goes, you thought that was abusive. Here's this, where my girlfriend says that she doesn't want this posted to YouTube and I make her cry. Like, and then I call that crying a form of abuse and manipulation and controlling behavior. And then I'll put out a t-shirt about how she's a demon. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's what's happening with that. So it got worse.
That situation I have definitely not kept up on at all.
Okay. Well, I would advise, unless you want it for content, to steer clear, because it's
oh yeah, the thing for me with like Mr. Girl was like, he's interesting, but I feel like when it comes down to it, who are we looking at in that audience at the end of the day? Like, what is the value add of having like his discourse around? And it's just like, I don't really want to like contribute to that, you know? Like, I want to add to people who are trying to find like marginal arguments for like what is or is not abuse or rape or pedophilia. Like, no, I'm good. Like, for sure. Like I get the idea that we need to empathize with people who we typically think are monsters, but we don't need to sit over here like trying to exactly find the line and have people argue for like the legitimacy of these lines, because I don't really understand the purpose of that beyond just like allowing for people to like get away with more shit.
Yeah. Well, Rhizome, it has been a wonderful conversation with you. So much that we've discussed, so much good advice for streamers. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before I let you go?
Nah. Oh, by the way, actually, so I was thinking about it. I was like, what broke me out of Hassan? And this, I think, is the moment where I started to like rekindle my interest in like critical discourse beyond just like listening to like doomer politics all day, was when his community came across a clip of you and you sounded like donkey to them. So they just like enjoyed that so much, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And I saw that you were doing like, you know, the debate review shit, and I started to watch you on YouTube. So I think like you sparked me to just like get out of that bubble a bit and like reignite my interest in like thinking about rhetoric and like reasoning and that kind of stuff.
What a weird way to get into it. What a chance occurrence.
Yeah, it was your LSF moment. I think that was like one of the moments you were on LSF.
Yeah, it was. I think the only other time has been like a Saikuno impression. Maybe I got to do impressions. Maybe that'll be the streamer nightmares advice, I guess.
True, but please don't do Gilbert Gottfried or any of your 90s voices. You do a lot of 90s voices. You do a lot of boomer impressions. You gotta zoomer up those impressions.
Yeah, I got to do Vietnamese impressions. I hear that's where it's at.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. All right, man. Well, it was good talking.
Yeah, good talking to you too. Have a good stream today.
Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye, chat.
Well, if there's anything we could say about Rhizome, it's that he is a lover of the chat. If you missed the beginning of that conversation, I would highly recommend it. We talked about Twitch. We talked about the blight, the taint, the fucking evilness that comes out. So in case you didn't know, here's the backstory with that is I read a book series called Wheel of Time. And in Wheel of Time, there's a power, kind of like the Force. And when men reach out to that power, it's always said to be like skimming the surface of like sewage. There is this taint to it, a weird, like putrid sweetness that comes along with grabbing onto that stream of power. And what fills you is this warm sensation of having so much power, but it's tainted by the taint. There's a lot of nastiness that comes along with it, and it's sickening. And that's what I would liken, like, a lot of the Twitch politics success stuff that you could do too. That if you really wanted to do good stuff and that's your goal, every time that you reach into the power and you get more powerful and you get more people by doing the thing that is the, you know, the complete opposite of what it is that you would like to do, then you're kind of filled with this sickening regret and this disgust. And it also happens when you see other people using it and whatever. And when I had described that, Rhizome mentioned interest in it, and then he and I talked privately for a while about his thoughts on the space and how he was feeling and whatever, because I had seen him on other panels and stuff talking about it. And that's how I initially got to meet and talk with Rhizome, is in private first about those things. And then we had a wonderful conversation today about an upcoming show that he's doing with Chud Logic called Streamer Nightmares, where they go to different streams of people that are small and they give them advice on what they could do to grow more or to improve their content. And it's meant to be done in the image of Kitchen Nightmares, which of course is a show with Gordon Ramsay, where there's a lot of screaming and yelling about these disgusting kitchens that are poorly run and restaurants that are not doing too hot. And that sounds like an interesting show. And if they do a celebrity version of that, because I'm a minor internet celebrity or whatever, I would be happy to be on and be a part of it. I want to say also, thank you to you guys. I asked Rhizome a question about starting new content and taking a hit on viewership and how to weigh that out. I know I need to collab more. I know I need to market more. I know I need to show up on other people's streams and be talking with other people and networking more. However, at the same time, it's not what people signed up for with the channel. It's not the thing that I'm known for. It's not what I get the most viewers doing, but it is something that needs to be done. And I appreciate you guys for showing up, for hanging out, for donating. At the beginning of the stream, we got some pretty sizable donations from the likes of, Hiffer and Saiku and Couchman. So I appreciate all that. Wolfgang, of course. And, supporting the stream is definitely the way to keep this content train rolling. And I really, really appreciate the rest of you too for hanging out, chatting, watching this kind of content, because it's not what I normally do. And I hope to get better and better at it. Honestly, I really look forward to doing the advice that Rhizome mentioned about watching back your VODs and seeing how to do better, because I'm doing new content now in the form of these interviews, and I want to make them better. If you have ideas on how they could be better, how visually it could be more interesting for you, of course, we could have had Rhizome on video. Maybe that's something that I do. Maybe you don't even care. Maybe you like seeing me make faces. I don't know. Let me know. Go to the Discord, !Discord. That command will work in all of the chats. I'll go ahead and call it for you guys in the Twitch chat. You can go there, go to the stream discussion channel, and let me know what you think. Let me know some people you'd like me to talk to. You may be able to recommend a streamer to me that is a hidden gem, in the words of Rhizome, a streamer who is, at least 30 viewers, at most like 300 to 500 viewers, who is somebody that you would like to see me talk with, collab with, pick the brain of in this kind of format. And then I'll reach out to him and see if we can get a talk established. If you have somebody in mind, let me know in the stream discussion. Any improvements for the stream or things that you like, let me know there, because that's an awesome place to do it. If you are VOMegalod Giga Chad, leave me a comment. I do read those and I do appreciate those. And, that might be a good place to go. Nightbot is tired today. Are they now? Sorry, I can only suggest Unseen Crystals. Okay, bruh. Now I'm missing talking. Oh, you're talking to who? Probably Katie, I'd assume. I remember Kitchen Nightmares more as the show that kept making Gordon sad. It's because you're an empath, friend. But yeah, that was a fun talk with Rhizome. I think that went well. I think most of the ones that we've been doing have gone well, especially obviously with the people I already have chemistry with and I already know. Like, I think the Zach app is one that I want to watch back and see how I could improve it. I was distracted by doing drawing. So on the last two that I've been doing with Chud Logic and with Rhizome, I made sure not to be doing other things while I am there and, focusing more on the conversation. Vels with the big $5 dollar. Let's hear what you have to say.
This is not in my budget for the month, but I feel the need to support the content I want to see.
Aww.
That is Booksmart's content. Also get a cat.
I can't afford that. I can barely afford to live. Okay? We've already talked about this. I can barely afford to live. Okay? I can barely afford to get a fucking house over my head. I haven't lived in a solid house that I own and am renting or paying for a lease on. I haven't had that in like 2 years. Okay?
Good talk with Rhizome and Katie is the best.
Thank you. Okay, so I will. Is Katie a streamer, or are you just flirting with this person in chat? I'm so confused by that. I assume it's just a chatter, but if Katie is a streamer, I'd be happy to talk with Katie. Most important thing is to enjoy what you do, or the audience won't. That is a good takeaway from the conversation that we had with Rhizome, for sure. Not flirting, she's gay. Doesn't mean you can't flirt. I'm just saying, does not mean you can't flirt. I have flirted with many a lesbian woman in my day, friend. Doesn't mean anything comes out of it. Flirting is fun, okay? I am a believer in the modern Western woman ideas about flirting. I like flirting just to flirt. I think flirting's fun. And I don't think anything has to come of it. I think the act of flirting alone is fun. And even a lesbian can enjoy flirting with a dude. I think. There will be lesbians that disagree with me. Sure. But I think just flirting is fun. No, not a streamer. William is my homie. Okay, fair enough. Who is this voice in text-to-speech? I think I've heard it before. That would be Trainwrecks TV of, Trainwrecks podcast fame. Yeah, okay, cool to know. Now I know about Katie. Katie is chat famous. I see. Well, I'm very happy to have you here, Katie, and I hope that you've enjoyed the stream. Maybe you'll come back for more. I don't know. If you're a famous chatter, then one other thing I've learned from the Rhizome conversation is to focus more on the chat and more on a culture of chatting, and he's actually inspired me. I will probably go out and engage in more streamers chats and chat more so that I can kind of rekindle my appreciation for the chat experience. It's just like I told Rhizome, it's hard to find a chat that I actually enjoy being in. I think the best chat experience I've ever had on Twitch, and this isn't just to suck off my friend's dick, although that's plenty of fun, is I'm Really Important. I love being in I'm Really Important's chat. I'm Really Important has interesting people that talk back to me. I'm Really Important engages with his chat in a really productive but quick fashion, donating and giving gift subs and bits. Like, I'm a fucking streamer. I know what the whole point is. The whole point is to make money. You're trying to get me to spend money so that you can make money. I know that. I know the whole point of it. I don't need to be spending money on my friend's stream, but every time I go into I'm Really Important, my fucking monkey brain turns on, and I used to spend a lot of money in I'm Really Important stream, just like doing bits so that my chat message could get through, and voting on different stuff in his chat, and gifting people subs who aren't a part of the community because they were so far and few between. Like, that is a chat experience that I just have not seen replicated in any other chat that I've been in. In no other chat have I been so pushed to the point of wanting to contribute to it and be a part of it as I have in I'm Really Important's chat. And which is why, like, in small part, that I'm a huge supporter of I'm Really Important. I'm a huge supporter of his YouTube content, which I love, and I eat like fucking Hershey's Kisses, and supporting him with his different polls and stuff. Like, I love that motherfucker's chat. It's so fucking fun. But anywho, enough about him. Yeah, plus he's pretty fly and white. Don't forget that one. Incorrect. It's also about making friends and shit. You know what? It is. You got a very fucking good point, William of Orange. It is about making friends. And I should probably focus more. And I'm actually going to write that down. This is a fucking brilliant insight, bro. It is about making friends. Because what I've really enjoyed, and it hasn't been in my chat, it's mostly been in my Discord, is getting to know the person behind every username. It's a lot easier in Discord, because in Discord, I get to, like, see basically I get like a voice gives me a lot more information, and I get to like instantly poke them and they move and I get a response out of them. So on Discord, I feel like it's much easier to make friends and get to know people. But I've been loving getting to know all my club leaders and their members and the people that hang out in voice chat and the drama chatters. Like, I love my Discord, but you know what? I need to share that love. I need to love my Twitch chat. I'm already starting to fall in love with you, William. Okay, you're starting to become a good friend. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So yeah, maybe focusing more on making friends with the Twitch chat, or realizing that friendship is a good part of chat, is something that I need to be better about. Careful, I'm conservative. Oh, baby. We're lucky the fucking stream only covers me from like the titty up, because my goodness, you don't know what kind of effect that has on me. I love conservatives, okay? I love them with all my heart, so that doesn't turn me off. I'm not one of these lefty streamers, okay? You've walked into a different kind of saloon, brother. This is why all the men are eyeballing men out here, okay? You've walked into a special kind of bar. I don't mind conservative people. I have plenty of good conversations with them, plenty of friends that are conservative. Conservative is not like a huge turnoff for me. So, well, that's why I like him and Leonard. I see. No longer viable? Who's no longer viable? I love being in generic hot tub streams. I don't like those places for the chat, but I have been in many a hot tub stream for very different reasons. So I'll say that. Streaming only for money is a great way to not like streaming anymore. True. But you have to stream for money in some part. If it's going to be your job, part of streaming is always going to have to do with money. However, like you said, to be charitable to only for money, that only is where the problem comes in. Because I definitely stream for money. But I also stream to grow clubs on my Discord. I think it's so cute that we have a cooking club that every 2 weeks, like, they get an ingredient that they have to use or a theme they have to fit, and they all cook something together and take beautiful pictures of it and talk about the process and whatever. I love that. I think it's adorable. I think it's adorable that Vels, one of my mods, is obsessed with cats, as you heard in the donation message, and posts a lot in our pets channel. I loved hosting Anime Club and talking about anime with people, because often it is a stigmatized thing on Twitch and in other places. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with all that, and so it's definitely not just for money. And if it was, then I would quit, because it doesn't make good money for me. I genuinely feel care and affection for a lot of the DGen frogs. When I see them in other chats, I like to give them gift subs. How do you define DGen frogs, Hannah? Is it people that just hang out in the chat all the time? I'm not hip with the lingo. I heard Rhizome using frogs as a term, and I know that Mizkif uses that as well. I'm out of the loop. I need to watch more streams probably. The DGens are Rhizome's chatters. Oh, I see. I'm not DGen at all. I'm pure as hell. Well, nobody asked. Littlefinger's definitely somebody I've gotten to know over the time of them chatting. That is a name that I recognize. Dr. Jellicle, I feel like I see when I'm in other places, but I don't feel like Dr. Jellicle is often in my chat. I think Dr. Jellicle is a frog, right? Or is a DGen frog? Because I know for sure I've been here before. I don't doubt that you've been here before, but I don't remember you for my chat. I remember you for other people's chat. It may very well be Rhizome's chat. Like, maybe I need to start paying more attention to names. I used to when I first started streaming, but I kind of got out of it, but maybe I should more. Honestly, a huge part of me tries to ignore the names so that I can reset my brain every time a chatter talks and try to give them good faith and charitability. But like, maybe the charitability thing needs to give way a little bit to making friends and like getting to know the chatters more, I think. Rhizome's Discord is the home for internet degenerates. Literally. Oh, okay. Literally, I see. Yeah, and Chuds. Might be Chud's chat. I definitely spend a lot of time in Chud Logic stream, even when I'm not chatting. I don't always chat in Chud Logic stream because Chud Logic people are a lot like DGGers in that I will have to deal with some form of very mild, I will preface this with very mild harassment. And so if I'm not in the mood for some very mild harassment, I'm not really going to chat. And a lot of the time I'm not. A lot of the time I don't want to reply to a bunch of people and whatever. And I don't want to like take the attention of people that are chatting. I kind of just like watching. I'm one of those guys. And it's the same way in back when he used to stream. Oh God, this is going to be quite the admission. Infrared's chat. I used to actually be in Infrared's chat, especially when he started streaming, less so at the end. But I used to be in his stream near when he was a smaller creator. And then he went super crazy with stuff. And, you know, then every time I went in there, somebody's harassing me about something. So, you know, I started going there a lot less. But, you know, back towards his earlier days of streaming, I definitely watched him. I assume streamers look at chat as a whole, like a horde with no individuals. Yes, but I think there is a slight distinction between looking at you as a horde and looking at you as it's each individual person that I'm going to try to respect regardless of my preconceived notions about them, right? These are like two different things. So seeing them as a horde leads to a lot of negativity because if one or two of you is saying negative shit and you're chatting more than the other people in chat that are saying negative shit, then we run into a problem of I start to think that the whole horde is negative, right? That's a bad route to go down. So I had to correct that thinking pretty early on. And like I still actively try and rework my brain to not think that way. But thinking of you as like individuals that I try to respect and resetting my brain every time is a huge thing that I try to do. Because I've had a lot of people who are like, oh, you know, I kept watching it because one time I was a dick or I said something and like you actually like listened to me and you actually responded like in good faith. And that turned me onto the stream. So, but I could probably do that also while keeping in mind the name. So that's a slight change I'm willing to make. Did Haas stop streaming? He got banned. He got the ban hammer. I think it was for the disinformation stuff, if I remember correctly. He had an article written about him, and I think that was like the final nail in the coffin for the guy. But that's what I think happened. Lemonies is an example of like, if I get to meet you in real life, just like how Discord gives me deeper insight into you, real life is like, you know, like when I see Lemony's name, I think of like the lady that I met in Denmark, right? I think of this lady who I went out drinking with and had lovely food with and stayed in the home of and you know, had these extended conversations outside with. And like, I think of Lemony's as like a whole ass person. I feel very similarly about the Discord people, but with chatters, it can get a little bit harder, I feel. Because if I just don't have like the voice and stuff to associate with you, there's like a different level in my brain that I put you at. He was incredibly entertaining, but then he turned into a lol cow with a 2-hole theory and height thing with Destiny. Just got sad. Yeah, I would agree. Supreme and I occasionally will reminisce about the days when Infrared used to be, he used to recite poetry and talk about theory, and like he used to come off as a fairly intelligent guy. If you caught up with Infrared at the end of his career, you probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. You think I'm fucking crazy. But early on, I remember thinking Infrared was like just one of these smart people that got hooked into Marxism. Like, I think there's a lot of people like that where I'm like, oh, you're not dumb. You just believe in something that's dumb. So, you know, yeah, I think my curiosity about other people helps me not think of people in that way personally. Oh, the horde way. Gotcha. Yeah, I have curiosity with people plenty, but like with chatters and stuff, maybe I should try fostering that a bit more. Maybe that's another good way of doing the friends thing. I'll note that down. The curiosity element is probably good. And it puts me in better spirits. Like now that I'm engaging with each of you, like you're an individual, like I'm beginning to think of Leonard the streamer and Leonard the chatter. And I'm starting to think the same way of William and stuff like that. And Katie, that is actually cool. You know what? Come here. I'm gonna give you guys a big hug. Oh, big hug. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. I actually got something out of the chat today. I actually got something out of you guys. That's something good to consider. Thank you for that. Cause I'm feeling better. I started this stream being like pretty doomer about stuff, and then I had to talk with somebody who I really, really like. And then I gotta have, you know, these chats with you guys. Like, I'm happy. I think it's fair to call ideas dumb, but I don't like calling people dumb unless I'm close to them. That's probably a good rule of thumb. Yeah, he used to have like semi-decent debates. Yeah, and I don't know if anybody remembers that, so I try to be careful about talking about it. But like, yeah, he didn't always used to be that way. I think Leonard believes some really dumb shit, but I wouldn't call Leonard dumb unless I was busting his balls. I see. A little bit of Leonard roasting going on in the chat. Twitch caters to this interactivity. Otherwise, it's just YouTube. It's why people hang here. JazzDev, you've been here before. Do you feel like I give you enough of that, or are you guys deprived? And the other people who are in here that are in here normally. Like, Road Steading is another good example of somebody who's here with some regularity. Like, do I give you enough love, or are you malnourished? Do you need more love? I feel like a parent talking to their kid and sitting him down. So I've been thinking, have I been giving you enough love, or am I a bad parent? Because maybe you guys need more love. The internet is best when it connects folks intimately to chosen family community. Yeah, I got to get better at that. I've actually learned something from this stream. I'm really happy about that. I'm writing that one down too. That closeness feeling. I gotta go more for that. Love me. Saiku, come on. You of all people. If Saiku is out here demanding more love, then I fucked up, because I feel like I give disproportionate amounts of attention to Saiku. Give us more love. Wow, even Roy sounding off. Damn, Roy, I need to give you more love in private, if you know what I'm saying. I do. You know what, Roy? Here's my hope. And I'm just going to call you Watsaku, because Roy is very cringe to say. Sorry. Watsaku, I hope that when I get back to America and I move in North Carolina, I will have more time to spend to dedicate to working with you and maybe going and like paying you for assistant help and stuff, because I feel like we had a good thing going when I was in Romania. And I feel like if we could return to that point and I could invest more time in working with you, we could get more done for the stream. Because I've seen you making an effort for BIA too, but I need to be a better manager. Like, I feel like where I'm failing with the BIA, with the Booksmarts Intelligence Agency, which is our group of people that help research stuff, is I need to do a better job of managing. And yeah, so just that there's a thought for you in particular. I've been missing his streams so much recently because of my new job. Yeah, new jobs are like that. You know, when you don't have a job where you could listen at work. Lol, you have to clearly define what your personal boundaries are. Chat is creepy when it makes assumptions. You ask for access to couches and stuff means the door is open for the community building, but, and I guess I'll catch the rest of your message when you finish typing it, Road. I've been missing his stream. Okay, I already read that one. I'd like to imagine a streamer as a conductor of a conversation, not a lecture. It's an attempt towards a democratized medium. When we're doing a segment like this, yes. However, when I'm doing something where, in Rhizome and I talked about this, the distinction between teaching and like watching something with somebody. When I'm teaching, which I would like to say to God's honest, the God's honest truth is I do teaching. When I do teaching, I need to limit chat interaction. I need to segregate you in the ghetto of chat intermissions. And I'm not happy about it. But the problem is if I get stun locked, it's not for content because the content is what I have prepared to say. So like, yes, but it depends. That's with an asterisk. When I'm doing the just chatting thing, 110%. But when I'm doing like, and I use edgy jokes. So yes, I'm going to say segregating to a ghetto. Because I think those are fun. They don't necessarily have everything to do with Nazis. But you'll think that, which is the whole point of the joke. But yeah, like when I'm educating, I need to have chat intermissions. But when we're doing something like this, it is the other way around. Yeah. I do get slightly out of line from time to time. Well, I'll keep an eye on that, William. I certainly will. I'm being mistaken for someone else. Are you? Well, you have the same name. Interesting. Wait, this whole time I thought Roy Yagi is oh. Okay, I do need to pay more attention to chatter names. Fuck. I'm sorry, Roy. You're totally right. You're not the person I'm thinking of. I had a fucking mental moment with your name. For some reason, and this has happened for a long time, I've looked at your name and thought you were somebody that you're totally not. My apologies. All right, Rhodes says, there is no more. I'm not going to try and make personal friends with the streamer without clearly being told that's okay. This is a one too many relationships. I'm always interested in being cyber friends. Gotcha. So making those lines clear. Are you thinking of Yo Yuan? No, I'm thinking of Rio, whose name is not Roy. But I think at one point he did have the name Roy, I thought. Although it might just be Rio. I may have just totally fucked this in my brain. I'm talking about Ryo, who is Watsaku, who is this person that I had at one point helping me with like assistance stuff. And like, I worked with them when I lived in Romania. And I had to stop because it's just life, dude. The segregated ghettos are fun, or the jokes are fun. Volcano Los Dos. Jesus Christ. Mue is another person I've become intimately familiar with over the course of streaming. No, I was thinking of Rio. This guy from our Discord. Holy shit. All right. Did we get any requests for drawing in any of these donations, or were they all just general support? Okay, this one isn't. You know, I think we can completely skip the drawing segment for today because I don't think any of our donos had anything to do with drawing. And I do need to go to bed soon because I have to be up early tomorrow. I think we had a pretty fucking good stream. I'm very, very happy with it. I learned stuff. I got to talk to, you know, a cool guy. How big of a dono for drawing? Normally, as long as it's like $3 or $5, as long as it's enough for the TTS, I generally do it. The Flat Earth channel has come in. I dono for a Flat Earth drawing. Oh, Booksmarts, what are you gonna do here, bud? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? 500 bitty boys from William. Let's see what William has to say. Oh no.
Flat Earth drawing.
Okay, well, if you guys are in here and asking for it, then... Oh, now you forced my hand. You forced my hand. You have commissioned me, and I can't help but live up to the call of the commission. You know what I mean? Okay, we'll do... If you donate $5 and you ask for something, then we'll do it. We'll do sketches. If you do more than $5, I'll spend a proportional amount of time thinking about compositions and whatever. I'll just we'll do a quick few drawings for whoever donates and wants that. I won't deprive you of your content, okay? We'll do that. That's fine. I think it's doable. Let's see here. Ooh, Dylan Burns finally got back to me. Maybe we could do that. I can send a pic and whisper. How about you send it on my disc? Actually, Flat Earth, you weren't the one that donated. But if you do donate and you go into my Discord, not a whisper, because I don't read those. If you go into my Discord and DM me your link after you send your money, I'd be happy to. Just draw a flat line, say it's a perspective drawing. Doesn't matter, take his picture. Yeah, I'll draw it out. I'll draw it out. I think that I actually have to like unplug monitors and stuff to get this to work properly, but yeah, I think I do. I definitely do. Okay, let me unplug a monitor real quick and plug it back in. Just a bit of a quirk with my cheap drawing tablet here. Boop. Huh, it's somehow not working. Wonderful. Let's unplug it one more time. I'm sure you love that noise, huh? That's like Windows ASMR. Booksmarts is looking fresh today. Thank you. And you're using IRI's emote to describe it, and that man is the king of fresh, in my opinion. So that's quite flattering of you to compare me to IRI, or to use his emote to refer to me. I certainly like that. If I could be even 80 or even like 60% of IRI's freshness, I sent it in whisper. Well, it's good to know. One thing I've learned about Flat Earth Channel is their inability to follow directions. That's one thing that I've learned today about Flat Earth Channel. And Flat Earth, you have not made a donation. I am doing this not for you, but for our friend William of Orange. Flat Earth drawing. I think I know what I'm going to do for this. I think I have an idea of the direction I'm going to take this one. Let's go to our art viewing here and pull you guys up. Lol, okay, I was just trying to give you an idea. Ah, okay. Well, then I don't need it, bro. I'm full of ideas. If there's one thing I got in abundance of, it is definitely ideas. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. Oh, I don't have pressure sensitivity. Isn't that fucking amazing? Amazing! That's amazing. I don't know why I don't have pressure sensitivity. Oh, I do. It's just not working. That's cool. Don't know why that is. Maybe it's a setting on the pen? Doubtful, but okay. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add a little magnifying glass here. And we're going to have our little boy standing on the earth, okay? And we're also going to put a nice little cap on our friend here. I actually don't know what this cap would look like. And then boop, 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 boop. Our little dingleberry here. And I think that's all of the sketch layer I would probably need to get this worked out. And then the rest is easy. Okay, so here we're probably just gonna have a globe idiot, right? Is that what do you guys call him? I know that there's some kind of slur that you use. I do love learning about slurs. There's some kind of slur that you use for the globe people. I just forget what it is that you call them. Maybe you could fill me in, Flatter. Globy. All right. Well, we'll refer to them from here on out as globies. But yeah, I know that there's a whole kind of lingo and system for talking about the globy people. Flat brains? No, we don't want a slur for our own people. We want a slur for the globetards or whatever. I thought it was like globetard or something like that. I thought it was like a bad thing. But apparently not. Apparently not. And then we'll draw maybe some kind of country here. We got Alaska way over here. The coast of California. We got Mexico and South America that move out like this. Florida. Up here to all that. Then we have, it keeps going out like this. And then we have Cuba and stuff over here. Bunch of little islands. I don't know the name of them. We got all sorts of stuff over there. Out here, we've got the United Kingdom, a bunch of countries that I never ever drew on the earth until I visited them. And then we have all of our Europe here going up like this because I don't know what the hell Europe looks like. This looks like an alien pointing or something. So we'll do that. Some giant continent of Africa over here. And maybe we have Madagascar down here, something like that. Okay, so this is our globy. Globy kind of sounds like domey. I guess that's sort of rude. So that could be fitting. Globetrotters, chunk or earth? Yeah, he do be chunky, though. He do be chunky. If nothing else, our globe is a chunk. Boop. Just like that. And then we'll kind of make this just a bit of lip there. And that looks good. Then probably want to make the arm a little bit better. Just like that. And then we want real nice thick legs. Let's make her thick. Make her nice and thick. Okay. And then we reduce that again to draw our feet here. Which totally changed the direction of the second foot. And then we need another chunky brush for our arm here. Maybe add a little bit of chunk to the other arm. And reduce the chunkalage for our magnifying glass here. Which should have a lip. So we'll do that. We'll do this. Do that. Do this again. Do that. And it needs to have a bit of a lip on the inside. And then a little bit of this. Just like that. Thing up at the top here where we have our grabbing. And then a bit at the bottom there. And then he is looking out over this huge thing here, which to do it, I probably want to have a bigger sweep of a brush here, so I'm just going to try and get this as good as I can. Follow the general outline that we had before, because the curve is reasonably okay for our purposes. Cool, cool, cool. And then we go ahead and tuck in the edges here where the water falls off. And maybe over here we'll have water fall off as well. Okay. And then we'll put some kind of landmass here. Maybe we'll have this be the caps. And we're going to need our countries. So maybe we'll put Alaskan stuff over here. Again, boop. And then down to the coast. of down to California, up, back around. This is looking a lot less good, but you know, oh well. I actually don't know how this is gonna shape up. I'm sorry. You can tell my globe brain that is totally broken on this, but I guess we'll just do Europe over here or something. Or some kind of landmass that vaguely resembles it. And then big old Africa. And over here, maybe we'll do our US. It won't be completely, you know, to scale or whatever, because I don't think the globe or the flat earth people really care about scale or anything like that. So we'll just do that. Maybe we'll just make this all South America and just completely abandon our previous plans for things. Island over here. Maybe we'll put Madagascar on the wrong side over here, and maybe some various islands and things out here. And then we have a little bit of a globe. A little bit of a globe. And I guess these will then turn into icicles, which I didn't intend for them to be, but there you go. Let's make our brush a wee bit smaller, because this is going to be in the back of the globe here. Back of the globe. Yeah, there. So we probably want to add a little bit of depth to this drawing. Isn't Depp a flat earther, since he did travel to the edge of the world in that pirate movie? Hey, bro, that's actually a wonderful point. Yeah, he might be. He just might be. I'll pretend that I totally didn't mean to put that in the back. And then we'll kind of add a little bit of depth and stuff to this. Not Johnny Depp, not to be confused with Johnny Depp. And we'll add a little bit of depth back here. Cool. And then we have our flat earth. And we could maybe do the sun in the background here. This is a very shitty sun. Do a bit of the moon. Ooh, I'm getting no feedback on my pen. Nice. I don't know what the moon looks like. Maybe like this. And maybe we'll draw our shadow here. So just like so. And there we have it. There's our flat earth. Let's go ahead and take off this little thing here. And if we wanted to, technically we could color this. Let's see what we got.
I gotta go make food and go to bed. Good stream. Good chat with Rhizome. Love me. Baby rage.
Abe. Thank you, Saiku. I do appreciate the support, and I'm happy to hear that you had fun with it. I will grab a blue here to color most of this and just finish it up a bit, and then I think we'll close it out for today. Got to go have fun, everybody. Have a good time. I'll talk to you later, Saiku. XCO, water doesn't actually fall off the flat earth. It freezes because it's cold. Yeah, I think the flat earth is meant to have polar ice caps on all sides of it, but alas, we are too late. We are too invested. Wow, look who came back to Twitch chat just to tell him goodbye. That's how you know that he loves you. When he comes into the Twitch chat just to say bye to you. The ice wall thing, right? Yeah, exactly. That there's a wall of ice at the end of the earth, and that's what the ice caps are and whatever. I think that's the whole idea there, but I could be mistaken. Maybe the flat earther in chat could correct me if I'm wrong there. I would be... No, I actually wouldn't be happy to be correct. I actually don't care. It's wonderful that you don't believe in the globe earth, but as a, radicalized globe earther myself, I just am not too sympathetic to your cause, friend. But you donate, ask and ye shall receive. I will, happily oblige to make you your drawing. Although, to be frank, it wasn't from the flat earther. It was definitely from our bits, person. So whoever gave the bits, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'm trying to draw, but whoever did that, I think that's the person that ought to be thanked for this masterpiece coming out here. Booksmarts is a confirmed sphere cuck. Yeah, there we go. There's one of the terms that I could see the flat earthers using. A sphere cuck. Yep. I'm just gonna sit here and let NASA fuck me and fuck my planet while I watch. That's how I get off. You know, actually, here's a bit of an admission. I enjoy watching stuff that's about whatchamacallit, that's about UFOs. Before stream today, I was on my phone, and apparently at some air show that had recently happened in the UK, there was this, like, it looks like it's a balloon. A balloon that's like rising up and gets sucked into the vortex of these like jets that we're driving past, and people are saying that balloon that was sucked up in the vortex of the jets, like, oh my god, look, that UFO totally darted across the screen right by those jets right when they passed. Like, nah, I'm pretty sure that's a balloon, but there is fun stuff on there that if you can suspend your belief for just a bit, it's fun to think about and whatever. Ever since I was young, I used to love watching the YouTube channels and stuff that would talk about UFOs. I think they've gotten way too serious now, and they run the risk of actually getting me to believe in like aliens and stuff like that. I hold out hope that there might be aliens on Earth or something, but you know, you can only play with those ideas so much before they get a little bit wonky and dangerous. So I try to keep that in check when I'm watching or listening or whatever. But it is something that I do enjoy partaking in. Is this brown? I'm totally colorblind, but aliens exist, but if they were anywhere near us, we'd be hyper fucked. Yeah, I really want to watch, or not watch, I want to listen to like an audiobook version of the three body problem, or the 3-body dilemma, I think it is, something like that. I think it's 3-body problem, and it's basically this book that's about there's aliens, and the aliens fuck with our physics, and physics stops working on the planet, and we know that they're kind of going to come to the planet at some point. And it's about all these scientists and the different ages that the Earth goes through thereafter. Thank you for the sub.
Large Pogu.
Wow, a large Pogu. Not even a regular Pogu, a large one. What I mean is that there is almost certainly life outside the universe, considering how big it is. I don't know. I would hope so, but I don't know. I don't know for certain. I don't want to get too bought into the idea. I mean, it could be that we're very, very rare and that we got lucky and whatever, but I mean, maybe. That would seem to make sense to me, but it could also be that they don't exist, and I'm not holding out hope necessarily either way, but if there are, that's cool. God only made one intelligent race. Well, there's an opinion, Garrett. Yeah, if I pretended to know, I'd be lying to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I don't have the answers. Life must exist elsewhere. I don't know if it must exist. Like, so let me break this down for you, William, to kind of explain why I'm not like 110% bought into the idea. So, if you believe that life must exist somewhere else because the universe is super large, at some point, even in your idea of the universe, where there's life in at least one other place, there had to have been life somewhere first, right? So a time existed, however improbable, where there was only one real bit of intelligent life. Because I also think when we talk about
Let's have
life,
a smell, all right?
it's a little bit loaded.
Ooh, wafting. Oh, everyone likes their own brand, don't they? This is magic.
Yeah, what kind of brand am I sniffing?
Analysis.
Analysis complete. It is Franklin and Slash. $5 from Garrett. Let's hear what Garrett has to request. We are doing
Book Smarts.
Okay, Alien Book Smarts. Well, I guess we'll plug Alien Book Smarts into our existing drawing here. I'm just going to finish up coloring it real quick, or getting the basic colors done here. I really hope that it's like a greenish brown and not an orange that I picked for the other bits of landmass here. I am colorblind, so with colors like this, I have no idea what it is that I am using. And my blues look like purples, etc. So it can sometimes be difficult for me to do the coloring part of these things. But, you know, here's to hoping that I did it correctly. It doesn't look completely weird to you guys. And then back here, we'll make these even darker. I hope that this is like a poop brown is what I'm hoping for on what I'm coloring right now. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the continents I drew with the wrong color. But, you know, I think it'd be a little bit difficult to fix later. So even if we're stuck... You know what? We'll all pretend it's rust color. Oh, no. Oh, well. Oh, well. I mean, I could technically fix it for this. I could technically fix it for the globe, but I think we're kind of screwed for the continent that's below us. Maybe we'll leave it as rust colored because it's kind of funny. It's fine. It's the future. The continents look like the world post-nuclear disaster. Jesus. Well, I'll take this and I'll make it a bit more brown. I think this is more brown. I'm hoping this is more brown. This is just pure hopium. We're running on hopium here, folks. I will hope that this is... Oh, that looks more correct to my untrained eye. I say untrained. It's more like I have disabled eyes. I think that looks more close to what I wanted, honestly. That is brown, yes. Excellent. See? I'm a professional artist. Now I'm getting them browns in. Ooh-wee. Not to be confused with some kind of political slogan for the far right, getting those browns in. Although I guess that would be more of a lefty position. Getting the browns in is definitely not a conservative position. I think that would fall more in the lefterly side of politics. Okay, there we are. There we are. We're nearly there. And then I just need to color the hands in the top hat, and then we're good. Okay, let's make this brush a wee bit smaller. Zoom in here. Get our other bits of land colored in. Clean up a little bit. Leave this place a little bit better than we found it. Boop, boop, boop. Select this color and clean up these edges just a wee bit here. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's real good. That's real good. Then we'll get a kind of light color of black here. Booksmarts is the ultimate centrist who accepts literal colorblindness. Yep, I accept it. I live it, and that's who I am. I'm pro disabled people rights. That's my position. All right. I believe in the right of the colorblind to pick their own colors and go their own way, you know? Colorblind people go in their own way. That's my policy positions. Boop, boop, boop. At least this is a big area that's easy to color. And I think then we'll add me floating around it as a little alien, and then we'll have a whole composition here that will be done. And I think I'll go ahead and take some gold here. What? You want to come on stream and say hi to everybody? Come here. Ooh. Oop, let go. Oop. Oh, now you're stuck on me. Come here. Well, I can't pick you up if you stick your claws in, so no love for you. Sorry, cat. Sorry, cat. Let's make this color just to throw in a little bit of interesting colors here. I think that this is actually like a lime green. I was going for something like a gold, but that'll do. And we'll take this color, we'll make it a little bit lighter, or a little bit darker, actually, maybe. Nah, I want it even darker. Boop, boop, boop. I totally forgot that we had the magnifying glass until I zoomed out, to be honest with you. Totally thought we were done with the composition when I had gotten to this point. And then we'll make it lighter because it's in the glass. And then we'll add a little bit of a tinge here for this. And we'll make white here and here. Cool. Oh, wow. What happened? What happened there? Not sure. I'll make his feet like a darker blackish color. Oops. Maybe we'll do it like this. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, we can pretend it's wood. A brown magnifying glass. Pretend it's wood. Wood is brown. What are you fucking gaslighting me? Wood can be brown. Don't tell me wood's not brown. Now you're gaslighting me. It's official. You're gaslighting me. Wood can be brown. Wood can be brown. Okay, we'll add a layer below that. Lighten her up a bit. Yep. And then we'll use this color for the rest of it. And we'll add a darker bit over here for the dark side of the moon. Just like that, and get us an in-between color to kind of mold this in a bit. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right, that's looking moony. And then I think we need a bright yellow for our sun, of course. I know that one. And bada bing. And now we need our little guy in a spaceship, which I'll do a sketch for first. You should be ashamed of yourself, Vel, is what they say. Somehow watching someone with color blindness paint is more entertaining than non-color blindness. I feel like this is ableist. I mean, at least you didn't need me to tell you that. I mean, it depends. I think it could be done in like a healthy, not cringe way. Like maybe if you're maybe if you whatchamacallit, what are the words that I'm thinking of? Like if you're watching the Special Olympics and you were watching it because you honestly support the people and whatever, I think it could be okay. I think it could be not problematic. But it'll totally depend on why you're watching, right? All right. What would alien book smarts look like? What do I look like? I was kidding and don't give a fuck. You have a lime green sun. Whatever. It happens to the best of us. I guess yellow is further down the color wheel than I think it is. Here we go. Let's just start out with the shape. That'll be the easiest part. All right, and then we'll do maybe a hatch here. A little bit of a, what'll the arm mechanism look like? Oh, I know what I want to do. I need a reference for it though, because I have no idea what it looks like. I know what I want to draw. I just have no idea what it looks like. There we are. Okay. So that's exactly what I wanted. Let's see. Probably also need a connection point here, and then these would go like this and like this, and it would actually be like Okay. And then bloop, 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 bloop. There we are. Okay, now I just need to draw these parts here. So it would be like this and like this and like, ooh, like this and 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 like I don't know. I gave up at the end there, but I think that's generally the idea that I'm going for there. Okay, and then I just need to ink it, and then I think we'll be good. I think you see what I'm going for here. So, boop, we'll make it really, really fat around the edges. Okay. Cool. What else do I want? And then I need to reduce the brush size here just by a bit. Bring you guys back up in front of me so I could read while I'm doing this. I think in general it is 3, but some women have 4 for... Wait, what are we talking about? Yo, dude, you suck! I agree with Vels. That's not the best first impression, friend, but, you know, maybe when you come back you'll have a better attitude. I'm a little bit doubtful, but, you know, I'm a bit of a cynic. Feeling a bit cynical today, as we've kind of talked about a bit. All right. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop. You suck! Love those, dude. Really increases my desire to stream, hearing things like that, you know? Puts fire in the gut. Makes you really want to keep going at it. Just to prove them wrong, right? All right. And then maybe, I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of this. And then maybe we'll put something on the top here. And then we'll put our tubes. $2 USD. Coming in hot. Let's hear what Garrett has to say. Thank you for supporting the stream, Garrett.
You rock?
I rock. Well, I think you got a screw loose, Garrett, because the last person that came in here was telling me that I suck. Or something along those lines. I forget already what it was. Sorry, dude that came in here and said something rude. I don't even really remember what it is that you had said. Something unthoughtful and rude, but that just goes to show you how much of an impression you leave when you leave a rude comment. You know what? It's like when you're a kid and you say that, well, I'm made out of rubber and you're made out of glue and it bounces off me and it sticks on you, you know? So I don't think too much of it, but all right, let's make these little details here. Cool, cool, cool. We definitely need a dial, right? Definitely need a dial on something like this. Maybe a dial up here too, maybe. Cool. That looks great. Let's thicken up our lines a bit for the little antenna here. Bloop. And let's thin out our lines again for me inside of the cockpit here. I definitely think the head should be more narrow. Boop, just like that. Cool. I like the way this is turning out. I know that other person wasn't too pleased with it, but I'm pleased with it. I love dials, switches, and gauges. Me too. Me too, bud. I don't think that other guy did, though, but fuck him, dude. All right. I think that's more than enough for this. So we're going to pick a little bit of a gray to color our craft with. And let's get a really big brush out for that one. Whoa! What happened there? Oh, I think I drew it on the wrong layer. Well, artist problems, you know. Wait, what the hell? What layer did I draw this on? It's another artist problem. What layer did I just draw that on? Because that is not what I wanted. And I'll fix the lights to not be lime green. I'll make them yellow this time around. Maybe I'll go back and fix the sun's color as well, because I definitely want that to be a little bit more accurate than it is. Okay, that looks fine. And then beneath it, I'll put a layer of black. All for the whole thing. And then play with the transparency or opacity or whatever to my liking. So then we'll edit the whole layer and just bring it down just enough. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it... Actually, lime green is probably what we want for this. We want this green. We don't want our sun green. Big tip for the artists out there. You want your sun yellow and the cockpit of your, alien spaceships to not be the same color. You want one to be lime green and one to be something else. Oops, I'm messing with brush size, not opacity. Okay, let's turn off our sketch layer so that I know what that looks like. Great, and then on top of that, I'll do a little bit of a white layer. Okay, oops, that's not what I wanted. Ah, that white layer will need to be on top of everything. And I need a smaller brush for that. That is very cool. All right. So there is that. I think I'll make me inside of the cockpit a little bit more of a different color, and then I'll mess with the opacity on that as well. We'll put him well below anything else. Oh, I actually like the way that looks as it is. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. I like that a lot. And I know it's on the wrong layer, but I'll do this anyways because I'm a bad boy. And I'll make it darker for the bottom here. Maybe even darker than that. And then we'll take our yellow again and color these lights. Oops. Do it on here. Oops. That's my... Oops. Wow. Oh, because we put the... Our layers are getting more complicated than I would like, but let's figure out... Okay, right there. That's the layer we want. We probably want this color to be extending all the way up these arms here. Actually, I'll make them red. We'll make these red. Just to make them pop, just to get more colors on here. Has it got a fill tool? It does, but it's such a messy endeavor to use the fill tool, and it leaves things white and whatever that, like, I have more fun coloring. I don't know if you guys colored much as kids either, but I'm a big fan of coloring. I got no problem with coloring. So for me, I kind of like just coloring it in. I understand it's not the most efficient thing in the world or whatever, but I like coloring things. So I tend to just go for that. That's what's fun for me. Boop, 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 boop. This is all colored in. We'll color this in up here as well. I need to color that other arm red though. So I'll grab that red and color this red. Oops. Bing, bing, boom. And then continue coloring this the right color. And we'll add all the little bits and bobs on top of it. And then we'll be good to go. I'll add something a little bit more yellowy for the laser bit here. Oops. It is not yellow. I can see that's not yellow. That's how you know it's a problem. I think something closer to here is yellowish. I actually can't see the difference, but I think based on the color wheel, that's closer to yellow. And then I'll grab a bit of this, make it a little bit darker for our pumps here. And then we'll get another funky color. Maybe we'll grab an orange for the side of this here, or an orangey yellow, maybe orangey green. We'll go with something like this. And we'll do blue here, and we'll do red here. Get a bit smaller of a brush. Ooh, that's not nearly small enough. Not small enough. That's not something I hear often. Actually, wait. Actually, it's something I hear all the time. I always hear this not small enough. Fuck. I hear that all the time. They're always wanting it to be smaller. That's the problem I run into. All right. Add a little bit of depth to this thing here. Color the one in the back that. Grab this again. Make it just a wee bit darker for our underneath here. Bada bing. That looks pretty decent. Pretty decent, if I do say so myself. Oops. Just like that. Maybe we'll make this part here this color as well. And coolio. There's our laser, and maybe we'll take a really light blue. Get us a really small brush to do this. There you go. I hope you got the request that you were looking for. I'll add a little bit of shading on the underside of this carriage here as well, because I'm getting a little bit completionist here. I definitely need a bigger brush for that. And I'll just color the underside of here. And then we will, of course, go to our eraser tool and erase the parts that don't need that coloring, like our polar ice caps and our lights. And just like that, we have it done. And I'll add a little bit of something for our friends at home that are more conspiracy minded, okay? Because this is a flat earth drawing after all. I'll add in, let's make it that big. Oops. Let's try and stay in line with our thing here. Let's get a blue, a darker blue. It's not dark enough. Whatever. I don't think that's blue, but I think you'll get the point. And then we'll get our reds. I don't know how red this is, but awesome. And then we'll erase the lower layer here, which I have indicated is that one. I have found it's this one. And then we'll add our stars and stripes. So boop, 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 boop. Huh. Well, we'll just do it white then. Oops. Make that smaller. That's great. That's wonderful. I like that. The angularness or whatever, the depth to it is not quite correct. Let's fix this sun color. I'm assuming that this is a better yellow, maybe. I'll make this huge real quick. It's pretty blue and red. Well, that's great. At least I got something right. I can't see the difference between these two. Maybe I'm going crazy. Is this still not yellow? Is this yellow? Is this yellow? Question in the chat. Is this yellow? Is this yellow or is this yellow? Those are all green? What? And more green. Okay, well, at least I'm not crazy. Those are all green, buddy. I was just memeing. Just memeing. Just your casual colorblindness meme. Surely this has got to be yellow. No, wait. Surely this has got to be yellow. No? Is this yellow? Go the other way? Well, I went the other way. Is this yellow? That's yellow. Amazing. 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 Oops. Okay. So I'll make this whole sun yellow. We did it. We did it. We found yellow. What layer is this located on? Now I'm layer searching. Ah, okay, wonderful. So we'll just we'll erase this whole thing, start from scratch a bit with our real yellow, which should be that same color. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. We'll be okay. And we'll color it yellow. Wonderful. Well, there we go. The drawing is done. Oop. Oh, not that part there, which my accidental zoom has revealed to me. Oh! Wrong layer. And while I'm here, I will erase that. Which my eraser is way too huge. Oh, no. Excellent. Cool. Yeah, let's call that yellow so you can move on with your life. It's not going over the green. There we go. It is yellow. Wait, are you fucking with me? Is this not yellow? Is this not yellow? Yeah, I fucking... Oh, you guys. Just for my own sanity. Just for my own sanity, I will make sure that this fucking sun is yellow, okay? I just want to know that I don't color my sun wrong, all right? It's got to be one of these layers. It's this one. Okay. Where is this one stroke coming from? That layer. Okay. And I will color this a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful color. Actually, here's what I'll do. I will do the outside this color. And then I will do the inside the other color. I'll be fancy while I have the colors in front of me. Bam. That looks so ugly. Give me the other one. There we go. Okay, our sun is done. What happened to my moon? Wait, did I just turn off? Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe I've done this. All right, we'll erase this one then. All because you guys criticized me about my yellows, okay? The sun is orange yellow, so bonus, perfect. That's yellow, bam. All right, awesome. The higher is perfect. Nope. Oh! What have I done? No, this isn't yellow. Bruh, I'm using the fucking swatches of what it's supposed to look like. What do you mean? That's orange? Shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. It's the color of the fucking sun. That's the point. There's the letter of the law, there is the letter of color, and there is the spirit of color. The spirit is good, okay? This is supposed to be a sun. It doesn't necessarily have to be yellow. You guys are married to the idea of yellow. You've got fucking yellow fever, friend, and you need to go to a doctor for it. I can't believe I haven't saved this canvas this entire time. Let me save this. 6.6.22. Okay. Amazing. The sun is an orangey yellow. It looks fine. Well, I would agree with you. Wonderful. So there we are. We have finished. We have met my obligation to give you guys what's with the black line. That's a good fucking question. Maybe we should get rid of the black line. Let's get rid of the black here. We don't need black. Where is my black? Black? Oh, that looks poggers. What the fuck? Yeah, let's get rid of that shit. Whoa. Now that's a fucking sun. All we had to do was erase the black. Wowee. Okay, sick. Wait, what the fuck? Nobody told me that we didn't color in this little piece here. Boop, boop, boop. I'll do that with the mouse. Wait, I'm on the I'm on the wrong layer. There we are. Amazing. But shit ain't yellow? Bruh. Then it doesn't matter. Whatever. It's not yellow, but it is sun colored, okay? And it looks fantastic. That looks amazing. All right, what a wonderful image that we've created. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Also, I have one other thing I meant to tell you guys in today's stream, okay? One other thing, and that is, let me trim my canvas first, that I want your help. You got an opinion on the Vosh thing? Well, I would want to hear it. Let me go ahead and drag down what it is that I meant to communicate this idea to you with. It is in my notes. It is this. Okay, cool. Let me drag this into frame. And I have my Streamlabs unplugged, my Stream Deck unplugged, so I gotta hop in manually. Okay, so can you see this? No. Just kidding. I have a link to this, and I will put it in the chat real quick for you guys. Boop, boop, boop. Finally showing the true Earth as it is. It's a work of art. Well, I'm happy you like it. That's not the right link. Let me, wait, that's definitely got to be the right link because it's the link that I'm on. So this is a Google form so that you can participate as an honorary BIA agent, a Booksmarts Intelligence Agency agent. There are only... Google is asking me to play stuff. No! Okay, there we go. So there's the form. You can go on here and help me out. Please use quotes whenever possible. This is what I ask of the BIA people, and I will ask it of you, but you don't have to put timestamps, but try and use quotes. If you did not watch the video, just leave the answer blank. The first question, What do you understand Vosh's positions in this arc to be, or position? And then you answer, you just type in whatever it is that you think his position or positions are. And then you do number 2, is Vosh advocating for the shooting of Republican lawmakers? What, if any, issues do you have with Vosh's points and rhetoric? If you think he did a good job, then write in why he did good. What is your general opinion on this arc and the people involved, whether that's the rhetoric, the arguments, some advice that you would give them, whatever it is. And then your name or online handle that you'd like to have the opinions attributed to, so that if I cite them, I know who I would refer to or what I would refer to them as. And then these are all optional. Okay, so it's 5 questions, only 4 real ones because 1 is your name and that's easy to answer. And then optional. If you watch Vosh versus Luke Beasley, give me your takes on it. What do you think? What pushed your buttons? What's your opinion on Rose Risk v. Vosh? And what is the likelihood of a transgenocide in the next 10 years? All of these letters are optional, but these 5 questions are required. And I will also be posting this on my Discord. You should join the Discord community with !Discord if you want to hang out there. What's up, Mask Up Karens? That's a hell of a name. What is woman? I don't know. That's your name. I would expect you'd have the answer by now. Vosh wants to end all life that disagrees with it. Well, write that in the form and let me know. Nah, this is a guy who was bent out of shape about the transgender stuff. Must be right. Yeah, I don't know. But in any case, just fill that out, submit it. It doesn't require an email or anything like that. See, it's not shared, even though I'm sharing mine with you. I'll let you see mine if you let me see yours. Yeah, no, I won't get your email or any personal info. It'll just grab your answers to these questions. And again, it's only 4 real questions. The rest is optional. And yeah, so if you want to participate, want to help out, I will definitely be taking recommendations, suggestions, whatever from you guys, looking at what you're talking about. And that'll be that. Book's trying to recruit more radicals into the BIA. I'm trying to expand the agency, get some public outreach going. You know what I mean? Ask the people what the people think. We don't need 3-letter organizations dominating our whole fucking life, okay? I believe in those conservative ideals. I'm not a big fan of some of those 3-letter agencies. So if you would like to participate, you'd like to help out, you'd like to have your voice heard, do it. I am going to go ahead and post this also in the drama chat. Just like so. And if any of that interests you, you can feel free to fill it out. If you've watched any of it, Vosh is not advocating for anything until he knows the outcome is consistent with what he wants to happen for his from his future self. Write that in. So if his position is, I don't know, but if I knew, then I would do this, write it in. Let me know. Because I'm going to start using this as my judge of public perception in part. And I think that I want to trial run this to see if this is an easier way for people to be involved with the BIA. I think it is. Aren't we over this like about 1 month ago? I'm not. I wait until everything is over, until we live the apocalyptic nightmare that is Booksmart's Brown Earth. And then I go in and pick up the pieces and document what the fuck happened. I think it's tough to know about things until I have hindsight. I am very much a Voshite in that regard. I think that's a rad opinion of Vosh. I think Vosh is rad in that regard. So no, I wait till everything is done and then I do a wrap up on it. And I do a line by line and I go through it. So that's the idea there. In case you're new to the channel, that's what we do, is we wait until things are over and then we do line by lines of what the fuck happened. And I go and I take notes on entire transcript. Let me see if I can actually give you a little bit of insight into that process here by going to my specific Notion doc that has all this in it. Going to the right page here, which should be, I have these prepared for Mr. Girl, but I don't have them for the Vosh thing. Oh, well, that's fine. I can use this as an example to show you what it is that we do. So let me open this and put it in my top thing here. Brown Earth, let's make it happen. I'm going to knock over some trash cans right now. I'm doing my part. Are you? That's a good question, bro. It's a good question. So this is basically the kind of document that I would work with. This is one for Destiny talking to Mr. Girl, obviously, based on what's at the top here. I get timestamps with the basic, line by line of what it is that people were doing or saying. I read and notate this as I am listening to the conversation. I go back through it. I can Control F for, you know, anything that I'm looking for and find it in the document. And then I add a bunch of notes, and every so often there's a timestamp to let me know where we're at in the video. And then I add these timestamp notes into a general thesis that I put forward. And that's what we do on the channel. It's crazy, I know, but this is how I form educated opinions. I think educated opinions are opinions worth sharing. So that's the plan. I'll probably do that for the Vosh thing as well. So if you'd like to contribute, if you'd like to be a part of that process and help inform my understanding of how other people interpret the conversation, feel free to add into the forum. And I would be happy to read what the responses are from people. And we'll check that before I go live on the day of, probably the night before. That's the plan, Stan. Anywho, without further ado, I'll go ahead and let you guys go for the day. I've had you on for quite some time. Thanks for hanging out. If you're from Rhizome's community, you're from, oh gosh, what is his name? Why do I keep wanting to say Leandri? I've clearly been playing too much League. I forget the other name of the dude that I can check it. You're in chat too. When I look at your name, I don't think of what it is. It is Leonard. It's definitely Leonard. It's me. Yes, it's you. Again, that name, bro. You gotta change that name. That name sucks. I'm gonna give you a preview of what your streamer's nightmare thing is gonna look like. But yeah, okay. You know too. I'm preaching to the choir here. But yeah, like thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Leonard and Leonard's people, for hanging out. I hope you had a fun time with today's stream. You got a little bit of Rhizome, some good stuff that you're used to, and then you got a little bit of Booksmarts art stream, which might be something you're less used to. I hope all of it was fun for you, and I hope you enjoyed the Discord community. We got clubs. They have nothing to do with me, so if you didn't like me, if you're like, dude, I don't know why I listened to this dickhead for the last few hours, join Cooking Club, cook with people, join Anime Club, watch anime, join Movie Club, talk about movies with people. You know, there's all sorts of clubs on the Discord, plenty of other stuff you could do that has nothing to do with me. And I'd highly encourage you to just give it a look. You never know. Anywho, have a good rest of your night. For me, it's nighttime. It's 12:32 a.m. I probably need to get to bed because I have a long day of traveling all around Norway tomorrow, which I will tell you all about when I get back. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.